Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tabletop Notch. This is Season 2, the first chapter of Season 2. All kinds of new stuff to show you. We're excited, we're nervous, we're excited and nervous.
You can be both.
Yes, we have a few things to get out of the way ahead of time, as always, some announcements and things to make. I hope you enjoyed the new iteration of the guest book. It's no longer really a book. You'll find that you have special badges for bits, subs, gift subs, that's going to play at the beginning and end of every stream, as always. So we found a kind of new way to display some of that information. New overlays, new backdrops. Enjoy the woodlands of northern Antisuyu as we travel from Navikapura to the Rapper Mountains.
What you guys don't know is they just blew a hole in their wall. And
This is just outside.
It's a big old window.
We are outside.
It's real still. Very quiet outside.
So
right now.
quiet in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, very quiet.
Again, so much more new stuff to show you, but before I do that, I will pass it over to my wonderful castmates who have announcements and things to say. Please go.
Point! It's back.
We're back.
For those of you who are watching live on Twitch, not on YouTube, and also on a desktop, very specific circumstances here, there's going to be a little overlay. If you hover over it with your mouse, there's a little cue in the position that my cohorts are pointing in very awkwardly. That is just kind of like getting you up to speed on the quests that are immediately on the horizon for our characters. Very brief little summaries of what's on our brains. Please stop.
But what if someone's just tuning in now?
That's true.
And this
Then
way,
it looks like you're...
what's Jordan talking about?
Never mind.
Maybe I should go where that man is serving a platter of graven.
I'm so upset.
We're never going to get to the good stuff.
Okay, here we go. Also, really quickly before I throw it over to other folks, we have officially launched a Patreon.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Cool.
So,
It's exciting.
if at any point you're watching this and wish to contribute to the show in any way, like we never anticipated, it's always just a delightful surprise that people care enough, but we wanted to make it available to people who aren't watching on Twitch and stuff. It's just patreon.com/tabletopnotch. Oh, perfect timing, my little slide.
Look at that.
So feel free to go over there and check it out.
Wow.
We're working on getting some perks for the tiers and everything like that. So yeah, go check out the Patreon.
There's some pretty cool perks already.
Really?
Yeah, there's going to be some cool
That
perks.
homebrew perk?
Again, we appreciate your support more than you possibly know, and we never ask more than you can give, but
Yes.
we're so happy, and we've had a lot of people ask if there's just simply another way besides Twitch to support the show. That's a great way to do it if you choose to do so, so hop on over if you want to check it out.
And for now, that's all for me.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, if you missed the episode or missed any episode, you can catch us in podcast form. New episodes get posted every Tuesday morning. Yes. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, all the podcast things. We're going to work on getting every episode on there, but from right now, we have from Genesis until present. But stay tuned for more on that. Also, if you miss an episode, we re-air them on YouTube, like live together. We're all in the chats. That happens every Friday at 5 p.m. It was Eastern time. It was super fun this past week. There was a bunch of people there. People were asking more questions in chat. That was super fun. Thanks for showing up if you did. And welcome next time. And also, if you don't already, follow us on social media. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at tabletopnotch. I'm sure that's where a lot of you found us. We post funny clips, some behind the scenes stuff. And we've been making stuff when people ask for it. Someone asked to see like the old studio, so we made a new studio. So like we listen, we're there.
We try to accommodate.
We listen, we respond.
Look,
We're here.
we're super nice.
Also, content ideas, always great to have
great.
content ideas. So if you guys want to see behind the scenes stuff, let us know in the comments. It's always fun to know what you guys want to see.
Yeah, because otherwise we just it's boring in my apartment, and like, I want to know what you guys might be interested. Otherwise, it's just like here are some cats, here are some plants.
Oh god.
A lonely Erland is a
lots of
problematic
those.
Erland.
Yeah,
it's like you have to keep. It's like a
can't-
working dog. You can't have
have
him
to-
in the
You
house.
can't be
all the
idle.
time.
It's dangerous.
Also find us over on Discord. We have a very robust Discord with robust conversations going. Speaking of which, special shout out to Melvin, Pokodoko, and Shatung for boosting us. We're already at level 2, which means and I promise at some point we'll have more of those I think we could have up to like 150 emotes and stuff. We only have like 10 or something right now. We will take more advantage of that, but thank you for now for doing that for us.
150.
No, we won't. It's gonna be just number 1.
Number 2.
But there's already exciting things happening there, like theories that have been going back and forth. I've seen a lot, and especially we all love the fan art. We love fan art, and there's tons of that going on every day. There's new, really cool stuff, cool characters, cool moments that we like forget about that come back with a bang. So thank you for joining us there.
And people are like talking
Trash?
D&D, talking trash. People are shitting on me. It's great. Like people are talking D&D, and people are like DMs are talking, and players are talking and sharing their own character. It's dope.
Yeah, it's great. So join us.
Yes, please.
Anything else?
Yeah. Okay. So I missed some folks during the talkback. I'm just gonna rattle off all the because we got a lot of stuff going on. So here we go.
right.
Viking
Nice and
Plague.
easy.
Like,
You didn't take a breath.
Yeah. Did your
See your chest rise and fall.
That is a reference to season 1 episode.
fair. Viking Plague during the talkback did 1120 bits. I'm sorry that I missed it. Low McFo gifted 5 subs. Duday. Oh, also I wanted to shout out Duday_ and Jeremiah 90526 again, who are timestamping our YouTube videos now, which is just stupendous and awesome.
I've already used them.
I know, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, really?
They're so useful.
That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Vox Artifacts also subscribed while we were offline, and now, guys, I'm on a phone now with these subscriptions.
Oh, baby.
I've leveled up. What can I say? Johnny Gadfly gifted 5 subs. Dome1 not only subscribed but gifted 20 subscriptions. Somber resubscribed and gifted 5 subscriptions. Shades of Blue gifted 5 subscriptions. Hey, it's me, Ethan. Welcome. You just subscribed. GBC times Prime rated with 16 viewers. Oh, hi.
Subscribe.
Thank you. This is our first episode of this venture, so please stay tuned for like a big recap of our campaign and stuff. That is inbound. And Banished Raven just did 400 bits.
Wow. Hey.
Thank you all.
everyone so
And I already
much.
got email notifications about Patreon getting some contributors.
Thank
I
you
will
guys
look
so
at those.
much.
Thank you.
If people jumped in, a reminder that for anyone who did sub and wasn't already, your name will be added to a cool little slide at the beginning and end of every stream that we play. We've got a new jungle exploration theme kind of going on, so the book has transitioned to ancient ruins. Anything else?
Is it happening?
New
I think
intro?
it's
What's
happening.
happening? Do you want to credit some new intro stuff or?
Oh yes, let's do that.
Okay.
We've got a new intro as we've teased for so long. We'd like to give us a couple special shout outs. First of all, the amount of work that Jordan has put into editing it and piecing it all together is it's mind-blowing what she's A, taught herself how to do, and B, put together for this season 2. It looks incredible. And the second tabletop-notch shout-out goes out to John for the original music that you will hear in the introduction. It sounds so good. Pump those speakers up. Let it rip. R.I.P. ears. Blow them out.
We did balance it for the stream, but it is actually also going to be on YouTube, so you can just fucking jam.
We first put it in and we were like, oh yeah, we want it to be loud. And then we recorded it and played it back and we were like, that's too loud. That's far too loud.
I snuck some sub bass in there, I think. So maybe it was subwoofer.
So hopefully we found a nice balance between hype and not blowing out your eardrums.
Yeah.
So you will see that, but first we're gonna do the sort of re-acclimating to the campaign.
And Stug just subscribed. Thank you, Stug.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think Stung from Discord.
Oh, strong.
I would imagine. What's up?
Or someone's impersonating you. All right, everybody.
I don't know if this is coming later, but shout out to my friend Sean Davare, who is not on the show, but he's a good friend of mine, and he played the violin in the
Provided some additional music.
intro.
His name is in the. There's now a intro credits underneath in the about stream.
But thanks to my buddy Sean for playing some excellent violin.
20 different versions.
I made him do
So
probably
many
50
takes.
takes of the same thing.
Yes.
Oh,
Thanks
that's
for
just
tolerating that.
musicianship. They know that struggle.
That's fair.
All right, everybody. I think it's time. Let's turn it over and begin Season 2, Chapter 1 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. Let's do it. All right. No. No. Yes. Mashavanti Suyu's written history chronicles the War of Giants, or before that, the reign of Emperor Pachacamac, and rightly so. The continent had never before been united as it was under the banner, and in the wake of war, we found ourselves struggling to determine in what ways we were parts, and in what ways we were whole. The technological advancements fostered during the Emperor's reign, combined with the sudden outpouring of unfettered trade and dissemination when he fell, produced several of the most experimental and chaotic decades of our time. A period of discovery and transformation. Not the least of these discoveries, of course, was myconid extract. Our great pride, or great shame, depending on who you ask. These fungal creatures were no longer just a funny little thing you find in the caves and the mountains. They were the key to unlocking, well, everything. It seems there's nothing that cannot be enhanced in some way through the use of the extract. Soil, crops, potions, our very essence. Which probably explains why they're fast becoming extinct. And why there are those that would turn to dark deeds to keep the flow of extract ever strong. But this history, while important, is not the one I wish to research. I don't consider myself a particularly devout man. I pray on occasion to the Nikelkian gods like a good little boy, but I am not guided by faith, nor am I blinded by it. This is a luxury in this world that I think we sometimes fail to appreciate. The gods are real, there's no question. The gods are powerful, there's no question. The gods can affect our world in many ways. We see it every day. But there is a limit, and there is a symbiosis. Like a great shield in the sky, there is something that protects us from the gods just doing whatever they want. And what they want, most of all, most of anything, is exclusivity of magic. No more wizards, No more sorcerers, no more warlocks, no more druids. What if the only magic could be handed down from the divine? Imagine the swell of fealty and faith, the unending praise, prayer, and sacrifice in their name. Some mortals, fools that they are, would see this as a better place. But those that wield it understand that freedom of magic is the great equalizer. For a wizard who spent their entire life learning to go up against a cleric of the gods and to emerge the victor is not just inspirational stories or fodder for one's pride. It keeps the gods humble. Forces them to continue to provide for us, not just make demands. A careful give and take. And this has largely been accepted by both sides, mortal and divine, for many, many years. There are a few gods, however, that see balance as an ugly word, an insult, an affront. They trained their searing divine eye on that shield, and they tried to burn a hole through it. And through those holes, the divine strands cling to this world. Their influence grows, and they meddle in our affairs, slowly poisoning the well of magic available to us all. And so we must rely on one of history's best-kept secrets. The Reapers. Chosen by the dead in a way that we to this day do not understand. The Reapers are the only ones capable of cutting these god strands and keeping the tidal wave of divine influence away from our shores. But someone, or something, has found a way to identify these Reapers before they are ready to fulfill their duties. Kill them before they come into their power. And so the god strands grow ever thicker. And I worry they will reach a point where the foothold becomes a permanent one, and the magic of this world will be forever changed. I hope, then, that it is not too late for this new Reaper they found. A tiefling girl. Younger than would normally embrace the responsibilities of such a position, but I suppose that is the point. My dear friend, the wizard Salandriel, managed to find her before she could be slain by whoever is hunting the Reapers. And now her training has begun. Salandriel's brother, Cliff Ironcloud, is a powerful man in the north, and he has tasked a group of 3 with escorting the young Reaper to the Rapra Mountains, where she will attempt her first kill of significance. A small but important step toward ultimately severing the god strands. That the girl has made it this far is an achievement in and of itself. And yet I worry immensely. I know she is not to be coddled, but those charged with her protection. 2 names I had never heard before, and one I had heard of for all the wrong reasons. Erland Loftefell attended the prestigious halls of transmutation. Expelled. Sent to the Atonement's End Monastery in Shashi. Strong marks and physical fitness, but it is weakness of character, not weakness of body that worries me. Some kind of problem with myconid extract. Record sealed, but not to me. He would not be the first ex-myconid addict to take a little tumble down the hole. And word has reached my ears from the Ackley Grove, where another former disciple of Atonement's End was hired by the group as a guide. He was alive when they entered the forest, and dead when they left. The monks tossed this boy into the darkness, and now the darkness follows him. Saphira Shiohan. Difficult to find a surname, which I suppose is characteristic of a deserter who does not wish to be found. An otherwise sparkling military record in the Special Forces of Kiira. Once destined for a leadership position, now an ocean away from the men and women of her unit that she abandoned. She is a crusader, but we have already seen what happens when her personal crusade does not match up with those around her. Graven Ilvigo. He of the fractured Ilvigo clan from the Wixa Mountains, and cleric to the god of light, Kuusni. Sending a cleric of one of the meddling gods to protect a reaper feels very much like sending a fox to protect a hen. They say he is broken. They say that for the first time in history there is a second cleric of Kuusni, brought into existence because of Graven's blasphemy and fractured faith. I have seen this before in the histories. Chosen mortals who had disdain for their position, the responsibilities heaped upon them. Do you know what they all had in common? In the end, they all came crawling back to their gods. How long would it take, after losing this power, to yearn for the taste of righteous fury? And what if that moment of rediscovering conviction comes at the wrong time? As for the girl herself, Orba is the name. A promising wizard in her own right. But what does she know of this world? A runaway, and before that a servant, and before that a pauper. So much placed on her shoulders, but I don't think she has fully comprehended what this all means. So wanting to be a part of something. So desperate to keep close those that she thinks are her friends. This is who we send north, to the Rapra Mountains where the Cold Light Walker awaits. An undead horror not to be taken lightly, but a necessary kill for the burgeoning Reaper. If I sit here in my library, I'll make myself crazy with doubt, wondering if we made a huge mistake. So I will gather my things, and I will travel to Tunkuri Kualu. There is a part of the mountain range there that they call the Vale, and if ever my assistance is required, it will be at this place. And you must go now as well. It's time to follow the real story. The seasons are changing, but our burdens remain. It's good to be on the road again. After several days exploring all that Navikapura had to offer, the good and the bad, you're happy to let the chatter of the busy streets give way to soft clomps and gentle snaps as your horses move along the dirt path. You'll cross over the water again before you reach the Southill Corridor. But for now, the Navika River runs parallel on your right, the rushing dampened by a buffer of trees that sway with the northward winds as if to usher you forward. At the front of the pack, the swirling air flicks long strands of Erlin's dark hair across his face with regularity. And trailing just behind him, Saphira plucks a wayward leaf that found its way into a crevice of her armor, letting it go and watching it dance away into the forest. Graven, normally a very confident equestrian, shifts with some unease as he looks to the seemingly riderless horse beside him, having discovered only recently that some kind of mental block prevents him from seeing Orba as long as she remains in her Reaper form. The midday temperature is already brisk, and it's only going to drop further in the coming days, making you grateful for the supplies and warm trappings that Cliff Ironcloud and his self-titled band of advocates provided for the journey. Having made a habit of getting by with the most meager of resources, you're feeling as prepared as you can be, lacking only additional details about the Cold Light Walker, which should hopefully come when you meet your contact Praxis Vomalga at the base of the Rapra Mountains. It's about a 2.5 days ride, which promises to be anything but uneventful. In Navikapur, you picked up a few secondary tasks that are more or less on your way, some for monetary gain, others for personal reasons. And it remains to be seen how far off course these little deviations might take you. But for now, the road ahead is unambiguous, simple, and simple is nice. You're riding here. You're about an hour and a half outside of Nuupa, having left, heading over the bridge, following the river on your right, heading up toward the Southill Corridor.
And Trickster's Thicket, I assume, is immediately to our left already.
So it is, but further to your left, if you look at the map, once you get across that river again,
the first bridge.
Yes, you have crossed the first bridge just out of Nuupa. So it's starting to get thicker and thicker, the trees. There's no defining line exactly, but yeah, you don't see the thicket proper quite yet.
Do have to say, it feels good to be out of the city. A little bit, right? Fresh air? I think I needed it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to going back to a city for a while here.
Right.
Away from politics, at the very least.
And on the road, we stick together, right? We can leave what happened behind us and just...
Yes.
Yes.
So, Orba's, I guess, looking at her map, trying to get a bearing. Just so I understand what we wish to achieve before our rendezvous, there are a couple things, correct?
Right, so there's two things for me. I've got to pick flowers for Niels Bargus to get rid of the debt for Tessa Pleasant, and I've got to get 10 of those. I believe I promised him.
10 bromeliads, yes.
Yes, and then the other thing I have to do is go to Trickster's Thicket, and, well, it doesn't have to be that. It just has to be one of the places, basically, where I can perform my ritual for my bow. So that could either be the sunken place that we're already going to. I forget its name. What's the name of that place?
Ebwoods.
Right. So we could go there, which we have to anyway. And
I think given that Trickster's Thicket is quite
Huge.
large and also quite well protected by
I think it's not a good-
Elatrian elves,
exactly.
we
I
don't,
don't think it's a good
exactly
idea.
know where there's a sacred grove for you to practice on.
no, although I will say part of the spell is going to require me to get into combat, ideally with something that's not you, because I have to win. Well, I have to be defeated, and then I have to come back and win.
You want to go into
So-
Trickster's Thicket and have a fight.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be Trickster. That doesn't have to happen. But the flowers are
You
coming
have to
from
be
there.
into a fight?
So the way it works is I have to go to a place,
Yeah.
present the bow in the place, say a few words, get into a fight, lose the fight.
Okay, wait, so you go from 0 to 50 there, You have to say a few words.
Yeah, no,
and then
it gets more complicated, doesn't it?
enter a fight.
Well, yes, so then I have to get into a fight, and then I have to lose the fight, and then I'm supposed to be rallied back, I suppose, by the spirits, and then I...
Rallied back like you go down?
I think I go down, yeah, I think I have to go down. That seems like what Sarandero is saying in the... You can read the note, I'll give you the... But anyway,
Okay,
not that it matters now, but then I have to get up, rally, and defeat whatever I was fighting, so...
This sounds like something that needs to be in a bit more of a controlled situation,
Right.
and I don't think Trickster's Thicket can be that.
We also don't know for sure of any sacred groves in Trickster's Thicket. I think the Ebwoods
No,
is...
the Ebwoods might be a safer bet,
and we're
although
already-
the ground sinks, which is concerning.
Right. So in Trickster's Thicket, all we have to do is collect 10 of these bromeliads,
Right.
so we can return them to the alchemist in Navikapura.
How easy are these to transport? Are they...
The bromeliads?
Well, he said that they can be finicky because, obviously they're live plants, so we do have to package them up carefully and, make sure that they're safe, and I suppose,
I'll take out, go to one of my saddlebags and get my musty little chest
Which is that from?
that had the husky.
Oh my god.
Gross.
And I'll open it up and give it a shake off of the
sort
side of
of
my
fuck's
horse.
sake.
Yeah.
Dry leaves.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It has a little bit of a smell to it, but it's mostly kind of lost its pungency.
Who's right behind Graven riding?
Him and Norva are side by side in the back.
Away from her. And I'm like, oh, wait, she's on that side. I forgot. Can't see you.
I mean,
Does this look like it's big enough?
I don't know, I've got to see the plants, but yeah, I mean...
10 of them?
At least a
Size
few
chest?
of them.
Okay, so aside from those two things, I do see that, according to the map, we are going past the Broken Crown station.
Right.
So, is that
That makes
still
three
something
things.
that
So-
you wish to do?
Yes.
Okay.
If anything, it's gold off of the band of the benefactor that we have to get.
Yes,
off
we
of
can
Orland.
put it towards that. So...
Can we? Was that a Broken Crown official contract, or was that
Warber-
just Warber who wanted us to do it?
He wanted to be the lead person on the endeavor, but it is part of the...
Right, but if we go behind his back, do we not...
I suppose as long as we succeed.
Look, we'll see about that. That's not a guarantee. I wanted to go anyway, because I think it's going to be an important lead. If it's true that Void 2 is working with the Broken Crown, we need to know about it. And if that's going to tell us, then we do need to go.
So as far as we know, the Broken Crown, though a neutral party trying to sort of defend the area, and the Gentle Void being largely criminal mercenaries...
Although they
And
are
Logan.
trusted here in the north.
Sure,
Certainly in
sure.
Navikapura, where we just came from.
That's just something that if we're going behind everyone's back on that, I don't know we should parade into a broken town outpost saying, look, we rid this very secretive collaboration between you two. If that's what we end up finding there, if we do end up finding something about this Void 2, which is seemingly a collaboration between these two enterprises, that's not something we should be bragging about.
I think that Warber...
The less they know about us participating
Look, what we
in this
decide to do with the
investigation.
information, we can decide to do with the information when we get it, but we do need to get the information. So,
Warber wants it cleared out. He wants to be in charge.
it's not just
but
Warber that wants it, it's Massive as well.
Well, Massive wants the investigation, correct?
Yeah, so he
Warber
wants the
just wanted
information.
it cleared out of bandits.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying we would need to accomplish both things if we go.
Right, and isn't the idea that Massive doesn't want Warber involved?
Well, he doesn't want me to know that, he doesn't want Warber to know that I'm investigating on his behalf. He wants Warber to think it's,
It
his
seems
idea.
politics will be following us onto the road.
Well, sorry, yeah.
Well,
Also, Warber seemed to think that we were going to need more than 4 or 5 people.
Look, we'll see about
do
that.
this.
We're gonna have to scout anyway. Zigzagging path, it's looking like. a
Well,
bit.
no, it's all straight shots so far.
Well, the zigzagging will come, I think, as we go along Trickster's Thicket, testing the waters and seeing
Well,
how far
yeah.
we can get into the bounds of it to look for flowers.
I imagine not very far, because I can't imagine that there's not someone on the perimeter 100% of the time. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm not, but I hope I am.
Well, as we discuss all of the things that are on our minds, I will remind everybody that we are now officially under Cliff Ironcloud's employ. And I think, parallel to that, I am weirdly in charge. So,
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to say that if I get the sense... Saphira, I understand that the Broken Crown Outpost is extremely important and time-sensitive. But other things, like if the collection of the bromeliads seems like it will delay us,
No, sure.
please prepare that I need to have us pull out. We are not missing that rendezvous.
No.
Yes. How many days is the rendezvous in?
2.5?
Yeah, and he said it takes about 2.5 days to get there. And of course, your contact, he's not gonna like look at a spot in the sun and say, oh, they're not here, and book. Like, you probably have a little wiggle room, but if you for a day don't show up, he's gonna think you aren't coming. So,
But to be fair, we obviously we want to do the bromeliads as quickly as we can, and getting the page to communicate with Grimari, or whatever information we can get from Tessa Pleasance would be useful. But we can also get it on the way back, and just miss our timeline a bit. Look, he was very
All these noises you're
understanding.
making.
He was understanding when I came to him with not what he asked for.
Yes.
So I don't see, and I did tell him that we were on a journey. I told him that it could be longer than. I gave
Regardless-
him the It doesn't matter.
The point is I don't.
She's
I'm
in
not,
charge. She makes the decisions.
Yes.
Well, great.
Sure. The point is, though, is that I'm not trying to speak with my old alchemy teacher Grimari for fun.
No.
The point is
No.
that we're heading to Finlock Forest after we deal with the Cold Lightwalk, are we not?
If the timeline works out.
And who is the one person we know may be in Finlock Forest?
Yes.
Other than the Shade Assembly itself.
The one person
Yes,
we know,
yes,
not entity,
we know.
is yes,
Grimari.
my old friend Grimari.
Grimari. Friend.
A
I was
tenuous
being-
theory.
yes.
Yeah, I thought you might be being
Sure.
facetious.
The point is we have a way to communicate with Grimari. This isn't just about me and my feelings.
Right, but
No,
what I'm
I
trying
know,
to
it's-
communicate is that the immediate
Yes,
task...
yes. We will ride very quickly and be there within 2.5 days, and we will stop picking flowers if it becomes apparently difficult. Boss.
Wow. The attitude.
I'm joking.
Did you have friends at Atonement's End?
You don't exactly make friends in that sort of training
Just
scenario.
wondering. Just wondering if you had mates.
Did you have friends in the army?
Yeah, lots, loads, plenty.
It seemed defensive.
I had friends. I had a few friends. Some people liked me.
Orba, I do wish I could still see your face.
She looks displeased and concerned.
I thought so.
Does she also sound displeased and concerned?
No.
Right, well.
And now she's looking through her
Maybe
bag
we
in
should
a
come up with
concerned
some-
sort of fashion.
I got it.
Orba, and can I kind of try to like tie something around her and then see if
What are
Graven
you
can
using?
Can I like take off my cloak and like try to put it on her right up to sort of
If
the
you
side
ride
of her?
up, you drape the cloak over her shoulders, and Graven watches it.
Graven, do you see the...
It seems
And I'm
that
gonna
anything,
kind of-
and you've seen before, if she picked something up, it would float, but anything that seems to be worn or a part of her,
Hang on.
Like the map right now is like...
yes, is
Yeah.
floating.
Can I
yes.
get up? Are there like flowers or plants around?
Yeah, there's lots of
Can
vegetation.
I get off the horse and quickly pick like a few flowers? And like then
Personal
put
clock
them.
starts now. Orba starts typing it.
No, I'll jump back on the horse.
No, this
catch
counts as
up.
Erlen's time. This doesn't.
I'll like catch up to them, and then I'm gonna kind of stick some flowers behind her. Her ears?
I don't know if this is going to work,
No, it's not working.
but I like it.
Wait, oh, but put
Does
it
it
in
look
your
nice?
hand.
And as soon as you take it like back from off your ear,
Can you see that?
I see it, yes.
Wait, okay, so maybe she holds up
I
her.
imagine she's holding it in her hand, which does not seem very practical.
No, it's in my teeth.
It's not in your teeth.
That's much too close to the saddle to be your teeth.
Well, Graven, I understand that is frustrating, and I am sorry. I'm not going to be able to change it until I have a rest.
I understand. I have a theory of something that I might be able to do, but I would need
Do you think
a
that...
precious gem to accomplish it.
Do you think...
It's a spell. Never mind.
Do you think that your god is following us because
Isn't
you
he kind of always
can't
here?
see her?
Kuzni is always with me.
Right.
Right. So, but is he actively making you not able to see the tiefling, or is he sort of passively? Is this a you problem,
I think.
or is it a god actively doing something?
I think that because all of my power derives from him, it is a constant state. I don't think that he is actively shielding her.
You don't think?
If he knew more about her, there would be more trouble. I think.
Well, then maybe
right.
we
Well,
should.
that's what I mean. Don't you? What if it's me? Like, what if there's something within me that prevents it? As how I like it, as a survival kind of thing.
I'd like to not fight him again. That went rather poorly last
Graven,
time.
has he ever spoken to you about her specifically?
Oh goodness.
Yes.
What did he say?
He said to keep away from her.
Well,
he is never very heavy with details. He wanted me to replace her
Yes, and
in the group.
to be fair, I also kind of fueled that fire a little bit a while back.
I don't think that's the problem.
No, it certainly didn't help, though.
I do not believe at this point that he knows her full potential. If he did, as I say...
Well, then perhaps we should stop talking about her full potential.
Perhaps.
I haven't used the word, but yes.
Graven and Saphir, give me perception checks.
I was so close. I said group perception check.
Okay. Season 2.
Uncle roll, season 2.
18. New dice.
As you guys are riding along, you notice that as you're getting a little closer and closer to Trickster's Thicket, moving into the sort of more lush areas, filling with vegetation, brush, trees, evidence of wildlife is picking up dramatically, which isn't terribly unusual, going from a city to the wilderness. But there's signs of sort of more than just your average woodland creatures, and some things that you guys spot that are a little, not, one-of-a-kind exotic, but some rarer animals. Saphira spots a little tuft of hair that's sort of caught on a stick that looks like it belongs to a golden stag. They have these very sort of fine, blonde, golden hairs. They're well regarded for their sort of coats and pelts that are made from the golden stags. On the ground, you see a couple shriveled up jaculi moltings, these sort of serpent creatures. You heard about the stew that they make, the jaculi stew, and you see some moltings of these creatures sort of lying on the ground.
Spirit.
Graven notices some fur and hoof prints that probably belong to aurochs, these sort of large cattle, sort of oversized cattle that roam some of the wilderness. They're a little harder to tame. They're domesticated sometimes. In fact, Goliath tribes domesticate them more than other people. They're more difficult creatures than your average cow.
Hearty creature.
Yes. And another thing that you spot is little scratch marks at the base of trees. And you recognize these little scratch marks from how low they are to the ground. They belong to almirages, which are little rabbits with horns. They have horns on the top of their head. They're sort of oversized rabbits. And to sort of, almost like teething, they rub the horns against trees to sort of sharpen them and harden them over time. So these are all, none of these are ultra rare creatures, just you're seeing some evidence of wildlife that you don't normally see, in your... So it's obvious that Trickster's Thicket is home to a huge variety of wildlife and that they feel...
Comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable here, safe here, more so than in some of the other areas that you've been in, some of the more, urban areas.
They feel tender and delicious.
All of those creatures are edible in their own way.
Don't kill a bunny with a horn.
Yeah, don't kill the bunnies with a horn. It's so sad. They're so cute. They have a little
Although,
horn.
as you've
Get up
seen,
by the horn and bang it.
you had a a pugilism bout with someone who had the jaculi stew and didn't settle with his stomach. But all the creatures
Oh yeah, that
Rabbit stew.
Do they eat like poisonous salamanders? or
It just
something?
it loosens you up.
if cooked properly, they're very much edible.
Oh no, if not.
The other thing that you notice as you go, the road has very quickly emptied out. It's very obvious that the path out of Naupa, the more popular path is that one that goes through Hakathrice Fields, which is on sort of a little further east, that you're taking what they call the Southill Corridor, sort of following the river north. And you have not passed anyone since you've been maybe more than 30, 40 minutes out of the city. So this definitely a path less traveled.
I was going to say, but that seems totally
that
in
does
the realm of normal.
If you went the whole way and didn't pass anyone, that would be odd. But to not have seen someone so far,
Everyone in the north is dead.
yeah, the Latrians have
happened.
wiped
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
But for now, it doesn't seem unusual that you are kind of alone on the road here.
Okay.
We forgot to get that earring. I got for killing that
It's
fucking
not
guy.
real.
I think it's not real.
Yes.
You forgot to go to that guy's funeral who you killed.
Yeah,
What do
you
mean?
did. You honestly did.
We ride a little further.
At one point during the ride, Graven is moving along and your eyes are kind of flicking to the side, sort of trying to piece together exactly what it means to not be able to see Orba, as you guys have discussed. Not sure if it's something blocking you, not sure if it's something protecting her. Difficult to tell exactly what the sort of source of that is.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're kind of thinking, you glance up overhead. You see the sun pouring in from between the trees. And the leaves are moving, but not in concurrence with the wind.
God damn it.
Almost as if the light itself is parting them to get a better look at the ground below. You feel that invasive inward heat, almost as if it's starting in the belly and moving up your esophagus. A spiteful, biting sensation that you've come to recognize as your god Kuuzni reaching out to communicate with you. The sound of Kuuzni's voice, however, does not follow. Instead, something appears before you. Is he trying to show you something rather than tell you something? It doesn't take over your senses like a true vision, which you've had before. When that fight that happened, the sort of vision in the inn where you were fighting your allies, you've seen before that if he wants to, or in certain circumstances, he can completely block out all of your senses and insert some kind of reality around you. That's not what's happening right now.
More AR than VR.
Yeah. And as you look around, there's this translucent image projected maybe 10, 15 feet in front of you, and it follows wherever you look. You look to the left, you look up, and this image is like floating in front of you. It's a little disorienting. You're trying to ride, and this sort of fluctuating image is holding the air in front of you. Give me an animal handling check.
Oh boy.
That's fine. 7.
7. As the image is in front of you, the trail never travels in a perfectly straight line, and you're trying to direct the horse, and you don't fall or anything like that, but the three of you can see a little look of consternation on Graven's face, and he's like weaving in a way. He's a good horse rider. You've seen him before, and he's sort of moving a little bit back and forth like he's trying to compensate for some kind of something pushing him, a weight moving him in different directions. So the horse is kind of a couple steps forward, one step back, and then a couple steps forward.
Graven?
Graven, are you alright? Do we need to stop?
No, it's all right.
Is your horse sick or...
Can you tell us what's happening, please?
I just think I'm being shown something. It's fine.
Orba, step back.
Just everyone.
Can I try to, like, get her to come back a little bit?
down.
Motion to her.
Yeah, Orba's
You're on
like,
Trying to
separate-
slowly, like, calmly motion to her to come back a little bit away from Graven.
Orba will create a little bit of distance.
I'm in control.
Can I, like, look, like, into the thicket to see if I see any
Give me a
people
perception
maybe?
check.
Ooh, yes, yes.
Nat 20.
Oh!
Erlen sort of sensing the urgency of the situation. I mean, you've seen before that at a moment's notice, you go into a kind of, focus mode. You lose that kind of veneer of whatever sort of is hanging on to your thoughts, and you just give a clean look around, scanning the trees, you scan the river for any signs. A couple wildlife, a squirrel skitters by, you think in the distance, you see an elk or something kind of moving between the trees. No signs of people, no humanoids at all that you can sense, that you see.
Am I looking into Trickster's Thicket at this point, or?
You guys,
Not quite.
again, you're not quite there.
Yeah,
Until
yeah.
you cross the second
Water.
bridge, it won't
Right,
really
right,
be
right.
on your
Be the
left.
official,
Yeah, but
yeah.
you're looking into the trees. There's
The
certainly
trees,
trees,
okay.
yeah. And there's no sign of any humanoid
Waste
at
of
all.
nat 20.
Sounds
You're
well.
certain that you're alone. At
That's
this
true.
moment. Pretty certain.
I don't. If anything, just if I give some kind of symbol, be ready to bind my mouth. But I'm in control.
There's no mages that I can see in the woods.
We need to have a gag ready. And I'm gonna kind of like... I guess I'm
I'll pull out a length of rope from my climber's kit and pass it to Saphira.
Not that. No, don't do it.
That's gonna be an uncomfy gag, but it'll work.
It would work.
And that image, maybe it feels like it's between 5 and 10 feet in front of you. Just this sort of blurry, vague image.
I can't make it out.
Give me a religion check.
Oh, man.
You make me roll things, man. Religion.
What are we doing here for now?
I know.
You know what? Roll 6 dice. Roll them all.
What is that? Oh no.
Dirty one.
There he is.
That image hangs in front of you, and you even lean forward a little bit, trying to focus on the image. And the clarity just doesn't come. Both the movement of the horse
Can I stop
and the
the
movement
horse
of
and
the
just
image.
really try?
You stop the horse, okay?
Okay, I'll
And
stop and like sort of block them.
And you watch as
okay.
Graven's horse slows
It's all right.
to a
It's
crawl.
all right. Just quiet for one moment.
And the image kind of hangs there.
I still can't make it
You
out.
focus for a moment as hard as you can, and you feel like there are details that you're missing. But you make out 2 vaguely humanoid figures. They seem to be sitting at a table, and there's something laid out on the table that they're both sort of leaning over, looking at. You can't see what's on it. It's a piece of paper, a portrait, a picture, a map, you don't know. The image never kind of comes into a focus or clarity. But these 2 figures, one of which whose back is to you, and then you're seeing the other one facing toward you, are bent over this table, looking at this image.
Does it feel like present, future, past?
It's hard to say.
Can I recognize the shape of the people, the race?
Give me a perception check.
15.
There you go.
You pause for a moment. Let time kind of slow around you. You focus on, instead of just trying to pick any details you can, you say, I can't get everything, so I'm going to try and pick out pieces.
Yeah.
And the first thing you focus on is any features that distinguish race. The figure facing you, not like looking at you, but in your direction, looks to be an elven man. Kind of thin eyebrows. He's got a pointed goatee. He's got kind of a smart-looking fitted jacket. And he's pointing at the thing on the desk. Points to it, and then kind of sits back, gives a smile, points thumb into his chest. And then he sits and waits. As if he was, pointing to whatever's at the table, and then to say, I'm your man, I can do it.
Cliff was elven, right?
Cliff is not. Oh,
He's not.
I know.
Cliff is elf. Yeah.
Cliff, yes, he is. You nailed it.
But
Sorry, I'm
it
thinking of.
doesn't look like him.
It definitely does not look like
Okay.
him. No, a more slender, kind of diminutive figure.
I'm gonna try to, as I'm looking at it, you almost using my words to really kind of focus on it and describe the scene that I see. 2 humanoid figures, one elfin pointed goatee, referring to a parchment map, something on the table between them. Could be past, present, or future, I don't know.
And you don't recognize these. Okay.
What are they wearing?
You can try and focus harder.
I will.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Get the gag ready. Get the gag ready.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Constitution saving?
Saphira has the gag ready.
12.
12. You lean in. You focus, and you feel that uncomfortable rising heat. And you stuff it down as best you can. And you squint your eyes and you try to look. Other than the jacket, or you don't see any distinguishing kind of clothing features, but you get a little bit of a better look at the figure that's facing away from you. They have a very large frame, hunched shoulders, and a short neck. Possibly a half-orc or even a full-blood orc, just based on the sort of body structure. And while the other figure talks, they're sort of the pointing kind of back and forth, leaning in, pointing at whatever's on the table, leaning back. This one sits perfectly still and watches the other person kind of indicate at the table or whatever's there. And that's all you're able to discern at the moment.
Half-orc, orc is the other.
Okay.
What are
Dardanok?
the two leaders of the Gentle Void?
Dardanok.
Dardanok.
Are they elf and half-orc?
Dardanok is a half-orc. And
Oh God. That is such an early note. Going so deep.
I feel like I could try to see what they're gesturing to, but it might push me over the edge.
What does that mean?
that.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? If there's an edge, you have to know that what it means.
I mean,
to
I'd
push
like
off of
to
it.
know what they are looking at, but
It's
I
something.
might lose a bit of myself if I push too
I'm
hard.
gonna. Can I kind of like push Orba back even a little bit further and
Heed
like?
Lamar. He's a human.
The image starts to flicker, blur a little bit. Do you focus harder?
I'm gonna try one time to look at what they're looking at. On
Make
the
a
table.
Constitution saving.
Come on, baby.
As he's doing that, Orba will say, "Is it Josco?"
No.
No. Constitution saving. 17.
17.
Oh.
Huge. Graven grits his teeth. And he even, you're on the horse still, looking out, and sort of involuntarily, because you're leaning forward, your horse takes a couple steps because it thinks you're almost trying to like tell it to move forward. And you get a little sort of closer, but the image, fades,
Yeah.
moves back away a little bit. And you focus even a little harder. What's on the table looks like, as the lines kind of come into sort of materializing a little bit, it's like a diagram or a blueprint. Not like a regional map, but some kind of map of a building of some kind. And as you're looking at that diagram, the elf leans back once more, and he reaches into his pocket and he takes out a coin, which he sort of flicks a couple times, seems to be talking, holds up the coin, points to the diagram. It seems to indicate some kind of potential transaction that's difficult to discern exactly what it is.
Is it one of the men from the harvesting yard? One of the elves from the harvesting yard? Were any of the people in charge elves?
It is not anyone you recognize.
I do not know them by sight. I should let go. I can't focus on this anymore.
Okay.
And just as you're holding in that moment,
I'll try to kind of clear my head
Great.
and lean back and close my eyes.
the last thing you see as you sort of lean away from the image is the orc figure standing sort of in response to that coin. This is happening like as Erland was talking, basically, and you're focusing. And as the coin's flipping, the orc slowly stands, walks over to the elf, and thrusts a hand forward. He grabs him by the head, like the top of the skull, and squeezes. And you can see the indentations of the fingers in the skull, and steam starts to rise from the fingers. And you can see the elf writhing in agony. And the hand releases, and as it does, the head tilts back and you can see the finger indentations in the skull.
Do I recognize it as inflict wounds or any specific spell or anything?
Give me a give me a wisdom check, because that's your spellcasting modifier.
Yeah.
Give me a wisdom check.
22.
Oh shit.
22. It does seem to be some kind of burning hands-esque sort of touch fire spell.
Yeah.
but powerful, extremely powerful. Like the speed and intensity at which it comes out and the speed at which the elven man dies happens so quickly. And the person lets go and starts to bring the hand back, and you see a little bracelet fall down below, and you see the other half of Kuuzni's symbol that he ripped from your symbol, the other broken circle and arrows. And the hand retreats, and just like that, the little sort of bracelet dangles down, and then you lean back. And we're so fucked.
Graven's bile. I fucking feel it right now. Graven nearly retches as he leans back.
Graven, are you alright? Stop the horses.
You guys have kind of been stopped.
Yeah,
he had stopped.
Earl's gonna hop off his horse and sort of
Stay
just put a hand on
stopped.
him.
I mean, you had backdoor him up, so you were slowly moving back.
I'm gonna sort of go over and just like help make sure he stays on the horse. Goliath, what happened?
Graven.
I'm gonna take out my symbol and just leave it out. When Kuuzni broke this in half and promised to find another that would do his bidding, I just saw him. He is the orc or half-orc,
What
and
makes
he
you-
is very powerful.
Right.
Does that mean that the other cleric can see you?
I do not know.
And subsequently,
I know the feeling of this connection, and I will be aware.
did the half-orc acknowledge you in any way? Then there's a chance that he didn't know that you were observing him.
Why would he want to show you this?
I do not fully understand what connection I have left with Kuuzni, but...
To rub it in your face? How did you know it was...
No.
How did you know it was...
I have rejected him enough, and I have drawn power from other sources at this point. This is me using what powers I have.
What were they doing? What were the two men doing?
I told you, referring to what seemed to be some sort of a diagram or a blueprint. The elf was confident in their abilities, something, and...
You saw the diagram?
Pieces.
What
I might be able to recognize it again if I saw it, but...
What sort of diagram would Kuuzni be interested in?
Finlock Forest.
Shit.
Graven, would he want the other cleric to try to destroy the Chimera?
Before I do, he has said as much. The elf is not dead.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's good.
Why is that?
So,
No competition?
No.
like,
Oh, he just killed the elf for the diagram. That's bad. That's not good.
This cleric is making his way through information and people the way that I used to.
See, I thought we were going on a trip to hunt. And I now think that we're being hunted.
okay.
He's gonna go back to his horse and start riding forward,
Wow.
without a word.
Orba's kind of been, like, up on her saddle a little as if ready to run away at any point on her horse and just kind of releases and sits back in her
Okay,
saddle once more.
so the number one rule of being hunted. Traps, alarm spells. You're never quiet, you never leave yourself alone, you don't leave yourself in a position where you don't protect yourself.
While I think that this is a good idea, what you're speaking of in general, I don't get the feeling that we are the hunted. He has his prey, the same as I. If we were to get in his way, or if we were to get ahead of him,
We're already
yes.
in his way.
Also, I would
Because
say...
we might already be ahead of him.
You would need to purchase schematics to kill us.
So, look. Either way, even if, we're not sure we're being hunted, I think we should operate under the precaution that we are being hunted.
As
Right?
I say, yes. good idea in general, as we travel, just the four of us.
So, Graven, when you have that feeling and you need to see, or you're seeing something, please
Do what
let
you
us
just
know.
did.
Yes.
Thank you, Graven.
You guys continue forward. Erlen kind of leading the resuming of your pace. As you head.
My clovers.
I paid 45 gold for this.
Was there a question? Yes, please.
Tieflings and humans, much more prevalent than halflings and Goliaths.
Yes, yeah. The most common races in Antisuyu are human, elf, dwarf, and tiefling.
So half-orcs are on the list of like...
Like a Goliath,
Goliath.
level
Oh, wow.
of not as many of them. Yeah, there's bigger communities of them on other continents. You guys back in Ki'Ira, there was more orcs and half-orcs back there, yeah.
And are they kind of like Goliaths in that they mostly stick to a certain like geographical area? Or?
You don't know that, and also certainly less insulated tribes the way the Goliaths have. They do, as some other races do, like to associate with other, orc communities, but they tend to be a little more integrated into other societies rather than like literally isolated in the mountains in their own little tribes.
Okay.
You guys continue to ride. At a steady clip, the path starts to bend to the left and converges slightly toward the river. A sign, if your maps are reasonably accurate, that it won't be long before you hit the second bridge and find your way into the low-lying area between the thicket and the rolling hills. Your horses traverse a portion of this lesser-used road that has a mixture of kind of brush and crunchy dirt. You hear the hooves kind of sliding through the brush. And it doesn't produce a dramatically different or louder sound than what you've been riding on prior, but it is enough for Erlen to see something in the distance. A head pokes out from behind a tree, maybe 100 feet or so in the distance, and it's low to the ground. It's almost as if someone looked out from behind a tree, was seated, and looked out from behind a tree because they heard horses coming.
Just hanging out.
And then peeks out for a moment. It's too far to sort of discern any details, but you see the head, and then goes back behind.
Sorry, that's a head to the river or to the sort of...
Toward the riverside, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so to the right then.
Yeah, it's on your right. Like, if the path goes straight,
I
he's
see.
just off the path to
Great.
the right. And he poked, sorry, I poked my head the wrong way. He goes out.
So I'm going to keep riding as if I don't see
Okay.
him.
Who's second riding? I think it was Saphira. Give me a perception check. You're behind Erlen, so you're not sure that you saw it, but...
3.
In fact, you are sure you did. So the only thing you notice is...
Do you get advantage in the... No, we're not
kind
in
of-
the mountains, yeah.
You see Erlen sort of just peering a little bit further
just
down the
up the
road, but
trail.
nothing that sort of immediately grabs your attention.
So, how far away? Like, I want to keep riding.
It was 100, so you're closing in. You guys are riding not terribly fast, so you're
As
closing
soon
in.
as I'm like, what would basically be maybe a few feet past him, I want to quickly like hop off my horse and run towards the tree where he
Always a
is.
flair for the dramatic.
Okay,
So I'm just gonna,
if you're letting yourself get that close, everybody give me perception checks before you jump off, including you.
Oh wait, what's my new perception modifier?
14.
14.
Dirty 20.
Twins.
Oh, I got -1 now? Son of a bitch. 13.
You have a -1 to perception?
On perception for Reaper form?
Oh, Reaper form.
-1.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm a dummy.
Will not perceive.
Hey,
Reapers don't need
being
to...
dumb is okay.
Just eyes on
They
the
don't
prize.
need to perceive, yeah.
As you get closer and closer and closer, before you hop off, the three of you riding a little further in front hear like something shuffling in the brush or leaves.
I'm gonna kind of
And
hold.
you,
place, or-
coming from the same place, and you, because you kind of saw someone there before, it sounds like they're like rotating to stay out of sight. Like it sounds like they're scooting more and more away, because you keep looking as if you're like waiting to see what's behind the tree, and the sound sounds like
Oh.
it's rotating the opposite direction. So are you hopping
So
off?
I'm trying to like hop off the horse
I'm kind
and
of trying
quickly
to.
running to
Oh,
the.
stop! What are you doing?
You watch Erlen hop off. You can say something as he's running.
That's what I.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
what are you
running
doing?
and I'm gonna sort of go up to the tree and try and grab if I see anyone.
Okay, so as soon as you come
Hugging the
around,
tree?
as soon as you come around, you start to see limbs. You see like it's someone seated, like legs sticking outward, and you start to reach, and you see coming in the opposite direction what looks like a stick, like coming up in the opposite direction to sort of defend, or just up in kind of a defensive posture. And you see the stick kind of come up. Are you like reaching?
I'm gonna
Looks
try
like
and
a human
grab
man?
the stick. A human man?
Yep,
Human child is what I was worried about.
Nope, it looks like a human man.
I'm gonna try and grab the stick.
Little kid.
He sort of has it in your grasp. Give me a contested athletics check.
Everyone's like, I take it.
You can try.
7. So there's kind of just a stalemate there, and he yanks and pulls the stick back, and he points the stick at you, and it has like a sharpened-ish end.
Okay.
Just keep a little distance and keep going. I mean you no harm, but I am
What the hell are you doing?
Hold on. What the hell's going on here?
Give me a perception check.
18.
18. You give him a quick look over. You see this man that he has kind of long hair that's pulled up into a purple bandana, and he has facial hair that looks like beyond stubble, but ungroomed in a way that looks unintentional, like someone who's been on the road for a while or something and just hasn't shaved, as opposed to like a groomed kind of cut. And in addition to the bandana, he has a leather jerkin with purple accents, and his bracers have been dyed black. Familiar colors of the Broken Crown, the black and purple. The largest organized coalition of rebel forces during the War of Giants, and now they primarily offer contract intermediary services. As you guys know, you've taken on some of their contracts. You see that he just told you he's armed, but he seems to be armed with a stick, and the other end of the stick is kind of bent in a little L shape, and there's a cloth wrapped around it. And you look down at his leg that looks mangled to some degree, not like attacked by a creature, but like the ankle is bent at a funny angle, and it looks like he's been using this as a sort of cheap rudimentary crutch as he's been traversing. So he's got the thing kind of pointed at you.
Injured Broken Crown.
Orb is gonna dismount her horse and.
Could
walk
you
it
not
over.
have said something?
Well,
I don't know who you are, so I'd prefer to keep some distance if it's all the same to you.
That's fine. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a scout or spy or something. Listen, friend, are you a deserter?
No. He seems almost offended by that.
Well, you seem alone in the woods with a pointy stick.
The only thing that I'm fairly certain of right now is that you're not BC, which I guess I should have fully fucking given up on by now.
You're waiting for the Broken Crown.
Hang on, have you been deserted?
He gives a look around. I'm coming down from the top shelf outpost. Been nearly 10 days since it got toppled by bandits. For all their talk about taking care of their own, the Broken Crown is taking their sweet fucking time sending some reinforcements.
This outpost, what happened?
What's it to you?
Well, we're traveling in that direction. I'd like to know if we're going to encounter bandits.
We could be of help. We're mercenaries.
I'm headed back to Navikapur. I'll get my help there, thank you very much.
All right, are there bandits we need to worry about along the road here?
I'll just stay away from the outpost.
That's impossible, we're riding along the road.
Well, ride quick then.
How many bandits were there?
Make a persuasion check.
15.
Sort of looks, and he looks across the faces and doesn't sense immediately that there's any sort of danger, even though there's sort of unfamiliarity there. And in addition to that, he almost, as he's talking, he seems like he's looking intently to kind of gauge your reactions and responses, almost like he's not sure, who you're affiliated with. So as he speaks, he kind of looks to each of you, kind of looking into your faces. They came in the night. About 10 days back, like I said. Maybe a dozen. Prepared, too. We still would have had the numbers if not for a bout of rot scale that sent 6 on a wagon back to Dillasoon a couple days prior. Nasty little bit of business. Bad fucking luck on our part. Or good on theirs, however you want to see it.
What caused this? What rot scale? What caused this?
You don't know rot scale?
No.
Saphira and Graven do know rot scale. Yes.
I like yes.
Yes.
It's a...
Bluffed you.
It's a not super serious, but it's a disease that you get from usually drinking contaminated water. The sort of so if it hasn't been clean water. And it's not lethal, but you get like cloudy vision and you get very dry skin. It's sort of very uncomfortable and a little debilitating, but not lethal. So it's from drinking unclean water.
Where are you getting your drinking water?
Usually from the river. Outpost is right along the river.
Right.
Gather it in jugs like anybody else.
You didn't get to see any of these bandits' faces, did you?
Sort of. Like I said, it came during the night, and they came in fast. Bashed the door down quick with a ram, and they stormed the living quarters. Most barely had time to grab a sword, let alone don a bit of armor. They wasn't uniformed or anything, at least not that I recognized, but they had tactics, no doubt about it. They had a couple people stationed in the stables for a couple people who tried to flee. I'm altogether ashamed to say we didn't put up much of a fight, but it all happened in the blink of an eye. They seemed to know where the living quarters was too, scouting the place out ahead of time. There was 5 of us that they took alive, myself among them. Tossed us in the cells that we had on the 3rd floor. Barely fucking spoke to us during their occupation. Whatever they wanted, they didn't need our help to find it.
Then why take you prisoner?
I don't know. Maybe in case the Broken Crown sent reinforcements, they had hostages, you know?
I suppose.
And you are now free.
Yeah, sort of, I guess.
Sort
2 days ago, I got a bar loose on the window, squeezed my arse through it. Small as the hole was, it was hard to prep for a proper landing. Fell funny. Broke my leg, probably fractured my ankle as well.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah. So now I've been limping my way back toward Novikapura.
You walked all the way from the outpost to here?
Yeah.
The other 4 are still there,
As
imprisoned.
far as I know, yeah. Unless they've been taken somewhere or they escaped themselves.
And they killed anyone else that was there at the time.
Well, they killed the people who put up a fight. Some of us who weren't able to grab weapons fast enough. They just stared us down, held up weapons, and what could we fucking do, you know?
What did they do while they were occupying the place? Were they resting? Were they trying to...
I don't know. Like I said, we were in the holding cells on the 3rd floor.
You didn't hear it? Were they speaking common? Were they...
Yeah, shouting orders when the attack was going on. But once we were in the holding cells, hard to hear on the floors below.
Is there anyone that you would suspect of your own people that would have possibly given them information? It sounded like they had a lot more than they should have.
He straightens up to that, and it occurs to you that even if he had that fleeting thought, he's been serving with these people he's offended by that. He's sort of taken a little aback by it. I don't know anything of the fucking sort. What makes you think they didn't just scout the place ahead of time? I didn't say there was someone in on it.
Fine. How about this? The rot scale. How soon before the attack did the outbreak happen?
Probably 3 days, and a day after that, that's when we put a few people on a wagon back to Dillerson.
And the attack happened right after that.
Yeah.
I imagine that they poisoned the water supply.
Yeah, well, the thought occurred to me later on anyway.
What was the outpost used for? Was it...
During the war, it was a sort of checkpoint between Novikapura and Dillerson. But nowadays, it sort of serves as a resupply depot, and also there's a few mining operations in the northern Stout Hills there. They call it the top shelf. I don't know if you know that. As people hire us to make sure that the mining operations play nice, basically. There's some valuable minerals in the hills, and people come there to sort of stake their claim. We make sure that the fighting doesn't break out.
Do you believe there was some kind of territorial dispute and ridding the neutral party was the
I don't
goal?
think or know fucking nothing.
Was there anything else going on other than your sort of typical outpost? Fair negotiations, checking, I assume, carriages?
Yeah. So, check people and take a glance as people go by. I don't know, nothing seemed out of the ordinary to me.
Does that seem true to me?
Make an insight check.
+6 now, guys.
Oh boy, get ready.
19.
Oh.
It does seem true. When you asked about the outpost itself and what its sort of purpose was, it seemed like he wasn't. It didn't seem like he intentionally lied to you, but as he was racking his brain, it seemed like he was kind of filtering out what he thought was important and what wasn't important. Like he was just thinking about what was there, what they could have been there to take or steal or look at, like why these bandits would have been there. So it seems like he's withholding information, but not in a in a nefarious way, just in a protective way.
So you speak of the sort of goods that you're in charge of that bandits might be interested in, yes? The mines, the sort of contracts.
Yeah.
What is the other day-to-day in the outpost?
What the fuck do you care about the day-to-day of the Broken Crown?
Well, I'd like to know what sort of bandits we're dealing with.
Well, they're armed ones, and they'll fucking attack you if you go at the outpost.
Yes, but we are riding past the outpost, and our plan was to potentially camp out near the outpost, which now, depending on the type of bandits, might not be possible. If they're interested in goods, then perhaps if we sleep nearby, that's no problem. If they're interested in something else...
Well, I don't know what they're interested in.
Right, I'm trying to figure that out, perhaps. What was the day-to-day at the outpost?
I'm not gonna sit here and fucking recap my entire job to you.
Sir,
I got a busted ankle, my leg fucking kills, and I need to get to Lieutenant Colonel Warber so I can get some fucking reinforcements up there.
I'm gonna reach into my bag and hand him a Riot root.
Okay.
And say, look, mate, I'm sorry, it's not much, but this might help you.
It helps with healing. It might make your stomach feel a little strange, but it does make you feel better.
Yeah, I know what fucking Riot is, and he disdainfully takes it, not because he's angry at you, but because he doesn't seem to want to be accepting help, but he grabs it.
These bandits.
It's okay. No, he just kind of ravenously starts chewing at the Riot.
Hey, look at me.
Right here.
Right here.
These bandits, the weapons they used, were any mages, magic users? Did they have poisons, bombs?
When the fighting was going on, they seemed to handle their bows better than their swords. Not sure what kind of training they had, but they were definitely more lethal from range, which is part of what making a run for it so worrisome for me. No magic that I saw. At one... Fuck. My fucking leg.
You alright?
Yeah. At one point, when I was trying to get the bar loose on the window, it's right over the stables, and I thought I heard him sort of drop something heavy in the stables and maybe cover it up with hay. I'm not sure if they tossed that ram that they used in the stables, but it might still be there. Rams.
I know.
The whole group.
Yeah. I think we found what we're looking for. Ram-a-lam-a-ding-dong.
Thanks for the root.
Yeah, of course, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Humor me. Tell me more about the day-to-day at this place.
Do I look like I'm in the mood, or that I have the time to humor you?
Sir, with all due respect, I don't know why my companion is being coy, but there is a contract to investigate this Broken Crown Station.
And to be totally honest, when we spoke to Warber and Ken Reggie and the others there, we did not know that there were hostages, only that the place had been taken.
Fucking Navikapura. Broken Crown there's a fucking joke.
So if we can do anything to expedite your friend's release, please let us know what information we can gather.
We might be the only people sent for them.
I would have walked to fucking Dilla soon if it was closer.
Sorry.
Let me put it this way. Do you know Warber well?
I met him a couple times, yeah.
Do you trust him?
Sure, yeah. He seems fine, it's just... Like I said, the Broken Crown there's got fuck all for resources.
Right, if they're in no rush to rescue you, then perhaps we're the best chance your friends have.
We're not useless. We really can help.
He looks down at his leg. You got anything stronger than Riot?
Kind of looking at Graven like...
I'll get down from my horse. I'm gonna, slowly approach him. Allow me.
Did Warber say that this was a, what's it called? This is one of those contracts you needed a writ to have,
Yeah.
right?
It's a writ of service contract.
And did he say he wanted to be there?
Yes, he wanted a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he wanted to lead it.
Could we? Was it something we could even cash in if we didn't do it with him?
Yes, he said it was okay if we investigated it on our own. I mean, he did say.
He's not going to be happy that you're involved, but
No,
Yes, no. I remember he explicitly.
yeah.
I explicitly told me not to do it. But I guess I'm trying to say, did he mention it was like secretive in any way?
No.
No.
Only that, so it was a writ of service contract, so they only wanted people that were reliable to some degree. And in addition to that, I think a little bit of detail that I can't remember, I think it might have actually been Graven when he was at the Broken Crown, just that they it wasn't so much a secret, but they weren't dying to have this information like get out wide.
Yeah.
It looks bad if the Broken Crown
Yeah.
loses one of their outposts, especially if it was actually to like common bandits.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So,
Already
yeah,
a
it's not
poor reputation of the Broken Crown in Navikapura.
They don't need
Yeah,
that hit.
they don't want that. So-
Discretion is mandatory is one, of the, is one of the things on here, but it literally doesn't say anything about. It just says that
Oh, you have the
recapture
actual- oh.
that was
Yeah.
seized by bandits. It doesn't say anything about hostages.
I think I gave. He doesn't have like that.
Yeah,
I gave him the.
That's
yeah.
rough.
Yes.
They did him dirty.
What are you helping him?
Inflict wounds.
Oops, wrong spell. Fat fingered it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made you hurt more.
Like on a keyboard
on a
when you fat finger it, you press the wrong key.
You know, like when we're playing Gauntlet and we do the wrong thing.
got
Oh
it.
my
God.
Okay.
I'm going to. What time is it? What time of
Graven's
day?
got his hand on it.
Yeah, he's like,
This is worth it.
It's like 2-3 o'clock.
all right.
Oh my goodness.
I work up a level
information.
2 cure wounds.
Okay. Go ahead and
Oh,
roll.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Go ahead and roll for the health.
I thought you were being
2d8.
generous.
You didn't need that.
Let's see. 2d8 plus.
Probably has 7
Erlen
hit
sees
points.
the amount of energy surging in, and he's like, "Whoa! Oh,
I was like, that was a lot.
Oh my god, 2d8.
Nice.
Wow,
Oh my god,
okay.
why do you roll well for the people that aren't us?
For the Yagolds.
17.
Oh my god.
Graven reaches out a hand, and again, you sense
better,
that
hold
just kind
on.
of reluctance because he doesn't know you, but you can see him in pain, and you reach out, and the healing energy flows through him, and for a moment, he kind of grits his teeth, and you look at the end where his ankle's kind of bent, and it kind of clicks back into place.
Still, be still. Be still.
And he kind of wiggles his toes a little bit. Oh, fuck.
How's that?
Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Now,
pretty good.
Takes some getting used to that sort of sensation, but
I would appreciate just a little more information.
The only other thing that I can remember is that there's some kind of records room that's at this outpost, right?
Right.
It's old. We never fucking use it. I think during the war, they kept books on people that owed the Broken Crown money. Whatever, for troops, for protection, whatever it was. So they have these list of names, how much people owe. There's probably some other shit too, but I know for a fact that there's a lot of those records in there.
Are you referring to Band of the Benefactor type of debt or
No,
larger
wartime debts, like supplies, loans, and that kind of thing.
during the War of Giants.
Yeah, like I said, records are pretty old.
Right.
Was the Broken Crown even... I thought the Broken Crown came into existence after the war.
Oh,
in
no.
order to- oh no, I
No,
thought it was
yeah.
a neutral party formed
That's
after the
gentle
war.
wood, I mean.
No, both of them existed prior. Though the Broken Crown was one of the leading sort of coalitions during the war. And then post-war, they were like, what do we do as the Broken Crown? And they came up with this idea to sort of neutrally mediate between...
Oh, I thought so. They became a neutral party after the war.
Oh, yes.
They
During the
existed
war, they
prior.
were very much part of the rebellion, like anti-emperor.
Oh,
They wanted
I
to break
see.
the crown.
Yes, they wanted
I
to break
see.
the crown. And the crown was broken.
Forgive me, I'm not from the continent.
It's fine. It's like I said, people that the Broken Crown had given weapons to, supplies, potions, whatever it was. I think there was some towns or cities or individuals that sort of had enormous debts, but that the Broken Crown is willing to loan them things because they were desperate for any kind of ally during the war.
Right, but surely those debts aren't still active, are they? I mean, if it was during the time of the War of Giants, I mean, some of these people might be dead, right?
I've never known of anyone going down into those rooms to do anything but fucking clean.
Right, do you know if there's
they're active.
anything else that's kept down there? Or would you, I know this is maybe not something that you would know, but if you've ever gone through those records, is there anyone particularly important whose name is down there who owes maybe a lot of money?
Family names that are important.
I'm the wrong person to ask for that.
Is there a right person, and do they maybe happen to be being kept hostage?
Yeah,
Of course.
one of the guys up in the cages, say, youngest recruit that we had there, his name's Jack. Because he was the youngest, that means he got all the shitty jobs,
Of course.
which included going down, cleaning the records room on the regular.
Is he one of the other hostages there right now?
Yeah, he was there when I jumped.
The other 4, they saw you jump.
Yeah.
Did they have any words for you? Messages? Did they have any protestations? Jealousy?
No. Before I jumped, I told him I'd go find fucking reinforcements.
Well,
And they said go.
reinforcements.
Were you treated well by the bandits?
We were barely treated at all. They brought us meager bits of food to keep us alive. Other than that, didn't say a fucking word to
And
us.
you said you saw one of their faces.
Their faces were scarved, and they
Okay.
came in the night.
Were there any prominent figures, either from the continent or in the Broken Crown, who came through the checkpoint in the last month or so?
I don't know, maybe.
Molifers, any ironclads?
A Molifair I feel like I would have remembered. Other than that, I don't fucking know.
And the weapons they were carrying, you said that they were carrying bows, right?
Yeah, bows, swords, sure.
I'm gonna kind of
ram.
like show him a little bit of my bow and nothing that looked anything like this, right?
Same basic parts. Yours looks a little fancy.
Well, I was wondering, no one has.
No, not like that.
Right.
If we were to approach this building, I'm imagining if they were more experienced archers and good with range, is there a part of the building that's kind of in a blind spot for people approaching, or?
There's 3 entrances, unless you want to go through a window. There's a front, a back, and then there's a door through the stables.
So the stables is attached to the main building.
Yeah, it's just off the end.
And you were kept on the 3rd floor, so the window is 3 floors up. Is it a
The
stone?
one that I broke is, yeah.
Yes, but the one that you broke, exactly. Is it sort of smooth stone on the outside, or rougher stone that one could perhaps climb?
It's smooth stone, but he thinks for a moment. And then he kind of looks down at his leg and flexes it one more time and kind of... There's a bit of ivy on the back wall. And if you look at it, you'd say that would never hold my fucking weight. It's too thin.
Oh no, Ivy's strong.
No, it's barely anything. But what I'm saying is, one of the other ones, one of my friends, a while back sort of reinforced it with these silk strands.
Oh, right.
It was a way for us to, sneak out at night, have a drink in the woods. So it doesn't look like much, and if you didn't know, you'd say that would never fucking hold me, but it'll hold. I've done it a number of times.
So why didn't you... That goes to the window that you broke?
No, that goes to the living quarters. We wouldn't be sneaking out of the jail cells.
That's very useful information, thank you.
Sure.
Forgive me if someone asked this just now, but was there anyone who was newly appointed to this post in
Jack.
the last few weeks?
Jack.
The young one?
Not that recently. He's just the newest, but he's been with us for, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 months.
So nobody who's been posted there in the last few weeks?
Nah.
And there was no one who passed through who had anything suspicious or who stopped and looked for too long.
A beggar who took refuge
No.
there. No.
He looks like he's racking his brain. You get the sense that because his duties were to these mining sort of operations and basic duties around the place, that it's hard for him to sort of even think about what would have been suspicious. He sees people pass on the roads. You don't get any sense that he's withholding something of that nature.
Do we feel like
This
we
is
have
useful.
adequate
Thank you.
information?
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to where you are now?
I've been walking for 2.5 days.
Well, you've got a short way to go, and now full use of your facilities.
Yeah, thanks.
They didn't ask you to write any kind of a letter or communicate with anyone, use you as a ransom in any capacity? Did you hear them talking about?
If they did, it wasn't to me.
Right.
Like I said, I think they planned to keep us as insurance. Make sure that if the Broken Crown showed up, they had some leverage.
Well, keep your head down, mate. Stay safe. And we'll try to get your friends out.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
I've no reason to be certain that you would, but if you do, I know they'd be grateful.
If we climb in through the living quarters, how do we get to the prisoners?
There's a staircase that goes up.
Directly from the living quarters.
It's
Is there
out
a
in the
door?
hall.
Just walk.
Yeah, there's a door to the living quarters, and there's a staircase in the hallway.
Are there any other doors on that hallway?
No, it's pretty small.
All right.
The whole place is 3 floors, but the floors ain't big.
And you said it was 4 guarding.
What?
How many are guarding the prisoners?
There was a dozen that came
Oh,
in.
right. Okay.
There's
never
4
mind.
prisoners now that I'm gone.
Sure. Okay.
Dozen.
Right. Well, thank you.
Give my companions and I a moment.
Yeah.
Step back.
And hey, and he flexes his foot one more time. Like I said, Jack was the one who cleaned the records, right? So he's the one who had a spare key down there. His bed's the first one on the right when you enter the living quarters. He's got a key in his chest.
I'm gonna kind of gather everyone away where if we speak hushed, he won't.
Sure, you gather away a little bit. As you're starting to move away a little bit, if it's all the same to you, I might be on my way.
Just one moment.
All right. And he's as you're turning, you see him kind of just looking to make sure no one's has followed him. You know, you get the sense that he's just on a heightened alert.
Not that I'm interested in asking him to lie, but I wonder if we should have him not bring up who we are to Warber at first, because that might start him on his...
Expedite his departure?
Yes. If we don't want him to be involved with this, maybe we tell him to just...
That's not a bad idea.
Good luck. That
That's
seems like an unfair...
Very suspicious.
Well, that seems like an unfair ask. He has hostages that he wishes freed. He doesn't care who
Also-
At the same
frees
time,
them.
You're allowed to pursue the mission. I'm not.
you
And
could,
honestly,
if
if
you want to
Warber
make.
shows up, we could use it. 12 people, folks. 12.
I agree.
I agree.
The worst he can do is be angry with me.
Exactly. The worst that can happen is he's.
And you don't really care
he's
about that, do
pissed.
you?
Well, also,
Honestly, no.
to be honest, if we're going in to attack 12 bandits, then he's not staying behind. Come on.
Well, no one's suggesting that.
No,
I
that's
was
what I'm
suggesting
saying.
lying
Is
to
I'm
Warber.
saying to Warber, if he gets
Oh,
on us about you
yes.
coming along, it's not hard to say. Look, there was no way we were going in there without him.
Just...
It's
It
fine.
was a good idea.
All right.
You turn back, and he's stood at this point. He's kind of putting weight on the leg, and he has the crappy kind of crutch in his hand. He leans it up against the tree there.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you. Be safe.
Yeah, thank you.
We haven't seen anyone on the path, so you should have a clean shot to Nuba.
Yeah,
If somebody hasn't caught up to you and finished you off by now, I think you'll be fine.
thanks for the vote of confidence.
You've made it rather
Past us
far.
first.
I was just being funny.
Does he do this?
No.
Why I oughta?
I'll be on my way then.
Cheers, friend.
Right.
If you go, good luck, and try not to get my friends killed, yeah?
We will
Yes.
try to save them. Yeah.
All right.
Travel safe.
You too. You watch him. At first, he's limping a little bit because he's sort of used to the motion. 2 days. Yeah, and then he kind of straightens out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he picks up the pace. He doesn't sprint, but he picks up the pace a decent bit as he continues on.
If he looks back, I'll give him a Robert Redford. Tell him the Raven sent you.
Brimming with
Don't do
17 hit points or whatever it was.
Oh my
Never
gosh.
have I ever rolled a cure wounds so
That
nah.
was a juicy.
You guys rode back to yourselves.
Well, that one really ran into us.
12.
12. Fucking 12.
Arrows?
And there are 4 hostages.
What do you mean arrows?
That's good.
He loves having arrows.
There's people
shot at
on the other end of
Well,
those
no,
arrows.
what I will say
that
is
they're
the
going to
benefit
attack.
is we will have the jump on them now because we do have a sense, at least, of what the outpost looks like from this guy, which is great. And I'm assuming that we can sort of, Graven, you weren't here, but we've done this before where we've picked people off one by one.
Also,
I've
additionally,
picked people off one by one before.
Yes, so then we were all experienced.
Additionally, there's a possibility too that we could, if there's already a sort of rope hanging down, there's a way in which we could perhaps get that rope over to
Get the hostages out and then kill the bandits.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart.
Based on how he described it, that's not how I'm picturing it functioning. But
Yeah, I'm not
Well, if
really
it's up
either,
on
but
the
we'll
third
see.
floor-
well,
we'll
it's
see.
ivy reinforced, and I don't think you can really like relocate ivy.
No.
Read it off.
Why
Then
But
it's
then
not
it's off the
anchored.
building.
Then it's...
I like
great
the
idea.
creativity and ingenuity, but I don't think it'll
Look,
work.
we'll think
It's
about
hard to
it.
tell until you see it exactly what the nature of like the.
We'll decide whether we want to sneak them out and sneak into the record room, or if we want to kill 12 people.
Maybe Warburg will show. What time was Warburg supposed to get
perhaps
there?
just knock out 12 people.
Warburg was still
Depending
trying
on
to
if we need
amass.
information from them, because we might want to ask them who they are.
I mean, Warburg was trying to amass a good dozen people, I think.
Right. Well, maybe we'll just have really good timing. What if he's like leaving at the same time as
I
us?
mean, that
Like,
would
what
be
if he's right
really
behind
good
us?
timing.
First
but...
things first, we need this bromeliads.
Yeah, I was going to say, should we start looking
Okay.
for these
Well,
plants?
once we get to Trickster's Thicket.
Saphira's kind of already, like, has her eye out
You give a
for,
look.
like...
I mean, you're aware that you're not.
yeah, I
even
know
in
that they're not
the
here,
region
but she's
yet.
already with the...
She goes.
with the
just a
sort of
weed.
flower, every flower she sees, she's kind of comparing it to make sure she doesn't get the wrong one.
You guys, horses back up.
Yeah.
Horses continue to run. You press on.
Kick Orba. It's like, oh, sorry.
As you continue on, the road curves slowly but steadily until you get the sense that you're almost traveling due west just by how much you've turned. And it's at that moment that the road splits. The continuation of the arc that would start to send you south in the direction of Katil. And then a jutting deviation out to the right that makes for the nearby bridge over the river. Sturdy wooden construction, but lacking regular maintenance, as evidence there's these little kind of tufts of plant matter sticking up between each of the boards on both banks of the bridge. So not something
Plant
that...
matter?
just weeds, just grasses. So you see those kind of
Saphira's gonna be so annoying.
I got
I
him.
got
It's
He's like,
that's
none of
grass,
that is right.
That's
Barley.
the dandelion.
That's clover, and this is useless. You're useless.
The bridge itself is very wide, big enough for multiple wagons or groups of riders to pass by going in opposite directions. It seems overkill for such a secluded area, but it's likely a holdover from troops using this road during the war, sort of passing through this area. You can see, in the distance, a pair of people at the bridge, but not exactly using it. There's a burly man with a flat-top haircut, and a woman with a heavy black cloak, and they're crouched down by the bank of the river. And at first you think they're in the process of pulling a small chest up out of the ground. There's like a about this big wooden chest, and it looks like at first like they're pulling it up out of the ground, but as you get a little closer, it actually seems like the opposite, that they're putting it in and covering it a little bit with some dirt. Not fully, not like in a hole in the ground, but lightly obscured as they kind of put it down and then start to push some dirt over it. Both of them are lightly armored, and there's a pair of heavy crossbows sitting just off to the side. Though at the moment they're kind of focused on what they're doing, and the rushing water that's right by them, it ensures that they don't hear you coming, at least until you get closer. So they're a little bit off there, and you can see them.
They're focused, but they're not giving kind of
No.
nervous looks around. They're
No,
just kind of
they definitely, they're not really looking around at all. They're
Okay.
sort of focused on the task.
And could we see what, like a cage of sorts that they? What did it look like they were
Give me a
putting?
perception check.
Okay, I'm imagining like a crab.
They're not putting it in the water.
They're not putting it in the water. Okay.
Well, crabs get in the dirt.
Perception. 10.
A 10. It looks like a solid wooden box, not a cage of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
You see this in the distance. It's still a little ways off. They haven't been alerted to your attention quite yet.
Should we wait for them to bury their treasure and then take it?
What? Ireland, for fuck's sake. We've been on the road for how long? It feels like we just got here. Can
I
you
was going
not
to ask if
stir
we
shit?
shout ahead and make ourselves known.
That feels more polite, Ireland. Fuck's sake.
What if they
Making
do?
enemies everywhere we go.
Well, they won't know. It was us if they.
Ireland, just know. Do we need it?
Didn't we say we're not taking a lot of time out of our forward
I think we
momentum?
did say that, Graven. I think that's a very prescient point.
All right.
Thank you. It's very kind.
You're welcome.
Graven didn't laugh. That was it.
Didn't laugh.
Graven didn't laugh. Graven was very honest.
In fact, Graven says, I'm not laughing.
I'm not. I am not laughing.
Why are you laughing, Saphira? I'm not laughing. Well, does it look like they'll be done with what they're doing by the
It's
time
hard to
we
tell
get
exactly
there?
what they are doing, but they're right now. The box is down on the ground, and they're kind of loosely,
Yeah.
sort of putting some dirt on it.
50 yards up ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout or just mind our business.
I
Maybe
think that we
shout
can
hello.
just mind our business until we get a little closer.
That's fair.
Okay.
So we don't startle them. I suppose hello is a bit, I'd be scared.
Sure.
Horses get a little closer. They again the sounds of the river. The river's pretty thick at this point. The water is moving. It's got a lot of noise. They certainly don't notice you get within. You were at 150 feet. 100 feet, they still don't notice you. You're 100 feet to the bridge, and they're on the other side of the river. Also. Yeah, they're not on the side closer to you.
All right. Yeah, as we get a little closer,
Yes.
call out.
Say
Call
hello.
out, or we just all burst into laughter to be like, oh, there's people here.
Greetings, travelers.
Hello.
You yell out in the distance. The two of both heads kind of turn up, and sort of reflexively, both of them reach for the heavy crossbows that are just off to the side.
No, please, no. We're
And that's where we're
friends.
going to take a break.
Wait a second!
Not quite knowing yet if we found friend or foe.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
That is where we're going to
Fire at him! Fire at him!
He started it. He wanted to steal your stuff.
Ha! Fire at him, and then you wait 6 seconds, and then you fire at him.
That is where we're going to take a little break in our return to A Peek Beneath the Veil, Season 2 episode, or Chapter 1 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. We've already gotten some leads on the Broken Crown outpost.
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thanks, friend. That we didn't ask his name.
I was the
God
one who
damn
said
it.
that. I said name. We didn't ask his name.
Blank.
It's
Totally
fine.
blank.
The guy who had a busted ass ankle that
It's
loves
not
me.
busted
now.
anymore.
It'll be super easy when we find his friends to be like, hey, what's the name of the
which
dude
guy
who jumped out of the
jumped
window?
They're alive.
When they're dying.
alive,
What was his name? The one
What was his name?
Oh, old Broken Ankle Jim.
And the other cleric of Quizney.
Oh, we
Totally
know.
fine.
No,
Oh,
it's
gonna be
not.
great.
It's definitely
That
not.
dude
man.
is power.
Yes.
You guys like
Firmly not
make
fine.
friends.
No.
We worship the same God.
Kiss and make up. That's the solution.
I'll just use sending to talk to him right now.
Hey,
Am I
buddy.
familiar enough with him just from seeing him like that I
No.
could use? Okay.
You guys can touch relics.
That feels like that moment in the office where Steve
Get outta
wants to
here.
tell Jim to talk to Roy. Do you know what I mean? He's like, you guys will understand exactly what the other one's going through. And it's like, yeah,
Not in the way you want.
but... Yeah.
Before we go to break, just
Yes,
really
please.
quickly, Pogodoko gifted 5 subs.
Oh.
Johnny
Hey.
Gadfly gifted a sub. GF Powers 4 did 100 bits. God, I can't even do it,
4,
but it's
100.
digital. Johnny Gadfly, what?
Don't listen. You're great.
Johnny
Stop
Gadfly
her.
then gifted 2 more subs. Cool Shaper 200 bits. Snapping Cobra 94. Hey, 1,000 bits. Welcome back. Babu _ Frick 66 did 1 month of sub. Oh my gosh. Mr. Biophile. Dynamite Sanders 1. Wretched Troglody Temp.
troglodyte, man.
There we go.
Thank you. Jesus, why can't I read usernames?
It's hard when you're
It's
going
hard.
down the
Thank
list
you.
right away.
Did a subscription, and then Achilles Viper 77 did a
Thank you.
subscription.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank
So much. I
Oh,
hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you're enjoying the sort of
Yeah. Our cat's
easing
at home.
into the bigger mission at whole with a few side objectives. Is the BRB video?
It's gonna be the recap and then
Yeah.
the chapter 1.
Great. So it has some information about sort of the lead up to this point. If you want to avoid spoilers, don't watch it. But if you need a little refresher as to what kind of happened prior to this departure, we have that there. But we're just going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we'll jump right back on the road and see where it takes us.
shoot it at us.
Yes.
Level 5 combat. Level 5 combat. Stunning strike.
Yeah, we just turned level 5.
Stunning strike.
Their doms will get so dumb.
They're like, wait a minute, they look like they're level 5.
Don't do it.
Down.
All right, everybody, thank you
Alright.
so much. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll be right back for more of the adventure. We'll see you on the other side.
Don't move.
Welcome back, everybody, to Season 2, Chapter 1 of Tabletop Notch and a Peek Beneath the Veil. When we left off, we had just approached the second bridge leading up to the Southill Corridor, which we'll be traveling through on our way up to the Roper Mountains. A couple of figures down by the bank of the river, on the opposite bank, that seem to have been burying something, putting some kind of item sort of lightly obscured in the dirt there. Difficult to kind of discern what it was or what exactly they're doing. Graven, after calling out to them,
I believe we're all actually.
yes, they sort of scramble over to their weapons, and as they're doing so, sort of hands raising to indicate no harm, and they get to the crossbows and look up at the people sort of holding their hands up, and they put the crossbows back down in the place that they were. Good day to you. Safe travels through the corridor.
Cheers, you too.
Keep your heads up. The elves that watch these roads are a mite prickly. Not that that's anything new.
The
Right.
Elatrians.
That's right, yeah.
You don't happen to know where they're, sort of scouting?
I would just be safe and assume that they're scouting the whole thing all the time.
Fair enough, okay.
You travel this road often?
Yeah, we do. We're just leaving a little something behind for the Elatrians.
Oh.
You know, giving thanks.
It's not a very
Nice.
good hiding spot. Why are you burying it?
Safe travels.
Right,
Do we need to provide the Elatrians with
oh yeah,
anything
do we have
for
to give a gift?
passage through?
Nah.
Okay.
Does that seem true to me?
Make an insight check.
Just out of the goodness of your hearts.
That is so sad.
A natural 1.
Natural.
20 and a 1.
Already.
It again, hard to discern. There does seem to be something they're not saying, but you know, it doesn't seem to pick up an indication of what that might be. And sorry, you asked them.
No, just out of the goodness of your hearts.
Wow. If you see any of these boxes on your travels, probably best to leave them be. They ain't meant for you.
Okay.
Hunting.
Yeah, we're hunters.
Are they dangerous? Like, if we didn't know it was there and we stepped on it, would that be an issue?
I wouldn't step on them.
Okay, okay. And Sophia's gonna kind of, can we, and I'm kind of looking at it, is there anything identifying about this sort of little area that they buried?
The area itself?
Yeah, like, I want to look for distinguishing features where if I'm traveling the path, I could see disturbed earth and be like, oh, don't step there.
Besides the one where they're burying, like further down the road.
No, I mean, like, I want to look at the one where they've buried it
Sure.
and sort of take note of the details so that I can maybe try to see
Oh, okay, sure.
anywhere
Yes,
else.
that if you saw another mound similar to that,
Then
that
I would
you-
know not
yeah,
to step
I mean,
there.
the box is sticking more than halfway up out of the earth, so if it's
Okay.
anything like this, you would see the box. But yeah, if you take note of like the size. That if you saw a mound that sort of had a similar size, you'd be able to, you know, think that it was something similar.
See any kind of triggering mechanism on it?
Give me a perception check.
Hey, it's a natural 1 as well.
Oh my god.
It's buried partially in the dirt there.
Sick.
Nothing discerning that you can
The
see.
one engraver is playing patty cake. And
Yeah, what's over here?
Well, thank you for the warning. I do actually have a map. Would you be so kind as to mark the places where you put these things so we know when to be cautious?
We don't want to
And
get.
Orva's gonna give like a nice sweet smile.
Sort of tilts the head up to look at the map. Sort of a small map. It's going to be hard to mark exactly where they are.
Small map. Meaning,
I mean, if I make an X on your map, it's going to be hard to tell exactly where that is.
well, at least we would know with which level of frequency you've left these.
An abundance
Things?
of caution, perhaps.
Well, also, do they all kind of look like
like this, because if we were just... this is the first time we've travelled through here, and we don't want to disturb anything. We don't want to piss off the Elatrian elves at all, if possible. I think passing through here might be, you said they were prickly, so if we can avoid anything that will piss them off, we really want to do that.
I would say we left about 5 of them so far,
Okay.
all along the road.
Does that seem true?
Make an insight check.
Are you +6 now as well, or still 5?
Ooh.
21.
21. It seems like he's underselling it. Sort of, just the glance between them. Sort of, they acknowledge to each other that they should say something, but that you got the sense that they might not be.
What kind of ferocious beast are you trying to take down with these?
What makes you assume it's for a beast?
I thought you said they're gifts for the Elatrians.
Yeah, more like gifts for the Elatrians.
Oh, all right. This is all right.
It's safe to say maybe we should avoid the boxes and keep on our way?
What did the Elatrians do to you?
Or not?
Why don't we just take care of our business here? You go on your way, you avoid our little boxes that we left for the Elatrians.
Right, sounds good enough to me. And Severa's gonna kind of start to head, hoping that her friends will follow her.
So that's a note to marking them on my map for me.
Or was gonna take out her quill.
Well done, young one. Well done.
I'm nice.
Oh my god.
He's gonna
draw a
just
dick.
totally...
Just a big dick on my map.
Lies. I don't believe a word of any of that.
Oh, so wow. So just all in like sequential, just heading north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, this is very helpful information. I feel safer already.
Of course.
Is the box making any sounds?
Already writing ahead.
Make a perception check.
Severa's just like looking back.
Sorry. What a perception? 5.
If it is over the sounds of the river, it's certainly not making any loud
working my way
sounds
right up
that
the
you
ladder.
would.
3's coming next.
Oh my god.
Cheers,
Cheers.
friend.
Turn the horse.
The other 3 sort of ride after Severa, who's gone a little bit ahead
Just
there.
looking behind like...
After a little bit of distance between us.
Sure.
Okay, so are we disarming bombs or booby traps, or what are we doing?
We're going to find out what's in them, and then if we get into an encounter with the Elatrians, we're going to alert them to what's in them.
Well, yeah, I pictured that there's something that if you step on it, it just goes boom.
yeah,
Potentially, but we should
potentially.
find out what they are, so that if we are attacked by Elatrians, or...
We do want to set this thing off, well, we should open it with a stick. Let's not make a mistake of just trying to get
Yes,
in
or
there.
throw a rock at it or something, but the point
Sure.
is this is a negotiating tactic for if the Elatrians try and stop us from plucking the...
I mean, also,
flowers.
you
If
know, just to, air the other side of this argument, it's possible that those are, in fact, gifts for the Elatrians, which if they are, and we're messing with them, that's probably not a good idea. If anything, it could
Oh,
be a
they're
test.
not gifts.
I've not known you to be this naive,
Well,
Saphira.
When I
but-
say gifts, I mean, it could be they were hired or something, they're trying to track something down, or even if they are enemies of the Elatrians,
Saphira.
the
man-
Elatrians might become our enemies too, soon. We're stealing something from them.
But we're not stealing... If we open it up
Shouldn't
and
say
it's
that
a
loud.
pile of...
Severa looks around like...
If we open it up and it's a big pile of gold or nice rabbit meat, then we leave it.
Okay,
We look for disturbed earth and we try to trigger it safely, and if not,
okay,
we
all
tell
right.
the Elatrians about it.
And then
comes
we
up.
brag about it to the Elatrians if we save them, if they encounter us.
brag.
So
Well,
that they know we're on their side.
If
and not just
anything,
stealing
I
their
suppose
flowers.
it could be a bargaining chip because we are, Severa looks around, trying to, get away with something here, so...
We're just taking flowers. They don't own the flowers.
They kind of...
Yeah, they might see
They
it.
do.
That's
I don't think
that.
they see it that way, Erland. I don't think that's the way.
Either way, we've got the information, and we're gonna help.
I wouldn't go by that if I were you.
Yeah, I don't think they're telling
He
you the
didn't
truth
seem to
about
try
that.
very hard.
It was really, I'm
You
shocked.
think he lied?
Absolutely, I do.
We spend, what, a week
Wouldn't
in a
you
city,
lie?
3 days in a city, and you've both become this naive?
Well,
Why would he
you've
lie?
Eyes open, everyone.
Why would he lie, Tiefling?
What you mean is, why wouldn't he?
Because he doesn't want us to bring that right to the Elatrians, Orba.
Oh.
Yes. Right, so
Now my
forward.
map's ruined.
You can still read it. I haven't. We have other copies.
No, it's just so pretty.
I'll trade you. It's fine.
No.
All right.
Are we sorted?
Yes.
No one steps on the boxes?
No one steps on boxes.
I got a good look at it, so I can, and I'm gonna kind of try to. I'll run it ahead and keep
It's
my
a
eyes out.
box in the ground, Saphira.
I'm just saying, I got a good look at it.
If you're very curious, we could go back and kill them.
No. Why is that? Why is that
I'm
the
putting
first
it-
option?
I wouldn't say it was the first
I think
one.
the best option is to just keep going, right?
Okay. Onward.
Getting sidetracked already. We've got things to do.
Horses continue on, pushing through the brush, trotting forward. Everybody give me perception checks. Saphira, give me one with advantage.
Yes. Oh, advantage, baby. Oh, I need that advantage. Oh no. 13.
Damn it, you
I get 14.
Oh, 13.
19.
14.
Wow.
It's right a little further on. Maybe 20, 30 minutes go by. Despite being out in the wilds, moving into and through the Southill Corridor feels almost uncomfortably confined. To your left, the tightly packed trees of Trickster's Thicket dramatically limit how far into the woods you can see. And if not for the river separating it, you would feel that something, man or beast, could spring out from behind a tree very easily without being detected. It's that kind of dense and thick that it's hard to, get a sense of what might be behind the trees. To your right, the rocky terrain rises rapidly, a precarious mixture of steep outcroppings and loose soil that make up what people refer to as the Southill Curtain, which is on your map there, or just the Curtain. It's a stretch of hills that even a seasoned hiker would find difficult to traverse, let alone on horseback or with a wagon in tow. In essence, forcing you to kind of commit to the route that you're on or turn back. It's very difficult to veer off and then go over to the Hackaprice Fields there, which is the other route that was presented to you. As you're riding along, you've moved, again, kind of maybe 20, 30 minutes away from the bridge, and Graven spots something that looks awfully familiar. A half-buried in the ground box. Not in the road, just a little ways off the road toward the river. I'm pointing the wrong side. Toward the river, but it's both hidden and not. It wasn't hidden in a way that they really wanted someone not to see it, but it also isn't if you were just riding along the path and weren't looking around, you probably wouldn't notice it, but in your sort of making sure that you keep a look at things.
Well,
Yep.
Or we're gonna
yeah.
look at our map and see if it's accurate.
Yeah. That one.
I mean, the X is big on the map. Maybe.
No, or we're gonna sell it.
Sure.
Got it.
mark it off. We found it.
That X is the size of the 20.
They-
Sorry.
Let her
Don't
do it.
Does that happen?
The
Wait, can you see the map?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, if she's holding it in her
changes.
hand, you can see it.
Oh my god.
Same with the pen, probably.
Yep, as soon as she
Quill.
slips it into her backpack, it disappears. But if it's in your hand, she sees it.
It
So-
occurs to me that this is a lot less hidden than I thought it was going to be. I thought they weren't done with that last one.
Yes, that's.
Well, it's hidden with the intent to be discovered by a particular party.
Right. So
Harlan's gonna sort of slow down and hop off his horse.
When
Is there a rock on the ground?
Yeah. Oh! Give me an athletics check.
threw a fucking curveball there.
What? 16.
16. Are you throwing it hard at it or lobbing
I'm
it?
throwing it. I'm lobbing it so that it lands on top of the box.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Lines it up.
And a size like a rock. Like
Yeah,
not a pebble,
and it-
like a rock.
Hits it makes a hollow wood noise. Thunk.
I believe it needs possibly to
Yeah, I was
open.
gonna say the same thing.
Well, it's not pressure.
Olga, you've got
Yes.
your hand. Oh, you can't do your special
What?
hand.
No, not-
What happened
not-
to your special hand?
Not in my current state.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
about just a
All right, I
breeze.
could... Hold on.
You've done that before, like a
No,
little...
no, hang on. Tell us what you're doing
Hold
before
on.
you do it. No, narrate what you're doing before you do it. Tell me with your words. Use your words. What you're doing.
I'm going to take a rope on the climber's kit.
Yes. Then
I'm going
what?
to tie it
Okay.
to the thing that opens the box.
Okay.
And then I'm going to step some distance away from the box.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pull it open with the rope.
I like it.
Okay. I still think we should stand back.
Yes.
That's
That's why I'm using a rope and not my hand.
And I'm still a bit worried
I'm
about
gonna tie a rope to it and then just go while I'm standing right there.
directly over top of it.
I meant away from him, but that's so funny.
Oh my god.
I will aid you in this.
Okay, but be careful. Not. I don't know if you should let your hands touch the box.
I
'cause
just threw a rock.
No,
at
no,
it.
I understand, but if there's some kind of curse, if it's magical, should we
Yes,
check that
can
out
you
first?
perhaps see... Can no one...
Not right now.
All right, you understand magic better than I do, so perhaps you can look at it and see if you see any
To
glyphs.
be fair, those two people did not. Well, I guess we've been surprised before, but they didn't look terribly like.
Magical?
You're right, but let's be safe about this.
Sure.
Goliath, come see if there's any glyphs.
People can purchase cursed
I'm gonna
items.
sort of very careful, like I don't want to make sure I'm not stepping on any strings or booby traps.
Sure, give me a stealth check that's not sort of trying to remain hidden, but trying to remain light-footed.
now.
I'll let Erlen go in front of me all weird and just walk up behind. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Sort of with light feet, making sure there's, again, like a decent bit of underbrush and sticks and things. You just kind of lightly brush things aside to make sure that you're not stepping on anything that seems out of the ordinary as you approach it. It seems footsteps land quietly and quickly along the ground.
Follow my footsteps, Goliath.
Short strides.
Delicately steps.
Yeah, you quietly, slowly approach the box.
I'm going to, before I touch it, I'm going to give it a look. Do you see anything?
Both of you can give me investigation checks.
Oh, not that one.
I went to look you. I don't know why I put you up there.
If you were crouching, no.
Fuck right
God.
off.
14.
Investigation? Plus 6.
Plus 6. Plus 6 to what?
Yeah, what? You
Sorry.
didn't say the initial number.
Plus 6 is the total.
I was like, plus 6? That's
Plus
pretty
6.
good.
You adding 6 to my 14.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, can we do that?
6.
So, nothing out of the ordinary as far as you can tell, and as Graven's kind of looking at it from a slightly different angle, the box itself is shut decently tight, but it looks like an older wooden box. It's not brand new, and the seal is not perfect. And there's a very faint white glow coming from, like, the crack along the side.
Okay.
No.
Do I recognize that as...
Without seeing what it, I mean, it certainly could be magic, like that strikes you, but saying, figuring out what it is.
And does it have anything like a latch that you could conceivably tie like
There
a little
is
bit of
a
rope to?
latch. Yes, it's not locked. There's just a latch. So you'd have to like pull it and then open it.
If anything, I think I see a sliver of light coming from inside, and I don't know what that means, but I would say if you do accidentally trigger something, close your eyes, perhaps.
Oh. Are either of you able to detect magic right now?
No, not right now.
Oh, good goodness, all right. I'm
We're
gonna
not just magic
Can I
boxes.
take
You
Orba
can take
and
whatever
pull
you
her
want
back
out
away
of.
from the box so that we're far away from it?
I mean, you guys are also, you didn't follow them to the box, so you're you're on
Yeah.
the road. You're at least 50 feet. Or
I do
30.
respond to verbal instructions as well.
Sorry, it's habit. And Disappear kind of straightens up and like doesn't touch her and like backs up.
Do you follow her back a little bit?
So she's kind of motioning.
How
like,
far back how far away from the box do you get?
I guess we'll keep the horses.
What are typical spell distances? 150, 30,
Yeah, we'll take the horses 60 feet back.
Okay.
I
Erlen's gonna
suppose
sort of
we
crouch-
should just be ready to.
Yeah, turn the horses away and stuff.
crouch down,
Horses.
and I'm going to put a hand on the box very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing? No? Okay.
No vibrations or keys
take
or
a lick.
Do I
anything.
smell anything?
I'm gonna try and tie. If you say it's a latch that's gonna do this, I'm gonna try and tie the rope around the latch.
Give me a dexterity check.
Oh boy.
Straight dex.
Yeah.
Wow.
You went back down the ladder. You went up.
Erlen's the new Graven, guys.
Season 2,
Natural one.
As you go to tie the rope just around the latch there, because it's like a sort of metal folding down latch, you think it's going to have a little more weight to it than it has. And as you go to slip the rope kind of through the hole there, it's light and it comes up immediately just with the slightest pull.
Close my eyes?
And you can close your eyes. I need both of you to give me dexterity saving throws.
So this is going.
Erland, what the f are you doing? Dexterity saving.
18.
17.
Okay.
Both
Dexterous.
successes.
Dexterous.
Hope so.
Erland, what the fuck?
Good time to roll a natural one.
Oh my god.
So as the latch just creeps up ever so slightly, the crack opens wider and that white light starts to pour out, and you immediately start to hear, even covering your eyes, just the slightest bit of like, almost like a combustion kind of sound, and this explosion of fire and heat goes out, and you do save, but
Oh my god.
you both take 13 fire damage.
Oh my god. What in the hell?
And the fire kind of catches on some of the nearby trees. Some of the leaves are sort of charred as this explosion goes out. And Saphira and Orba have to kind of turn away.
I hadn't have saved, I'd be down.
Sticks kind of go flying.
knocked you out?
And all this smoke and heat sort of billows out from the chest now. And as he opened it up and you saw a little bit of it looked like a glyph of warding, like one of these explosive runes that has been set as a glyph of warding.
13 damage, you said?
13 fire damage, yeah, that's correct. So Erland and Graven are like knocked back onto the ground as the heat pours over you, and you see them kind of go down on their butts. You know, it flows over them, and they don't seem like they, got knocked out, but just the blast knocks them back a little bit.
How are the horses? Were they like?
How far? You guys were
60.
60 feet away. It does not. The sound spooks them. I mean,
Right. Can we settle the horses
yeah.
really
Give me
quick?
an animal handling check. You can both give me an animal.
Okay.
Erland.
Ooh, am I good at this? No, I keep getting the -1 rolls. 16.
16.
Careless fingers.
19.
19. The two of you kind of grab the reins of the two horses as they start to shuffle a little bit, making sure that they don't, bolt into the wilderness. Grab them.
Erland, Graven.
Shit.
All right.
Shit, yes.
Alright.
My finger slipped.
happened?
My finger
And
slipped.
your ears kind of.
Alright, they're gonna have heard that. So I think we should keep moving. Are you alright to get back on your horses?
How long has it been
Barely.
since we left them?
Like 30 minutes, like half an hour.
Okay, maybe they heard it. Yeah.
If they did, it would be like in the distance that we,
Yeah.
It was,
okay.
it was loud up close, but it wasn't like, it's not like a thunderbolt. Yeah.
So they're very dangerous.
Yeah, thanks, Erland. I gathered that. Are you guys alright?
Everyone's sort of, there's like a burnt piece of hair like on his face.
Can Orba's gonna hand you reins of horses, and she's just gonna start running over to them to just try to help them up and stuff.
Sure. We're all right.
Well, I guess, yeah, you can't see me, but you feel like a hand reach yours and just kind of trying to ceremoniously help you up because you're big.
And it's in splintered pieces, but the lid is open and inside it's empty. There was like a glowing from inside, but it's completely empty.
Why
Like
are
the
they
pieces of the
trying
chest.
to just blow up Elatrians?
Because they don't fucking like them. And she's gonna reach her hand out.
Say, get up. Probably butted heads over something, hunting or land, or could have been anything.
If the Elatrians can't even get along with the Redirans and their own kind, who's to say?
They need better tactics. I mean,
My
they make
finger
enemies
slipped.
everywhere they
It's
go.
okay. Are you all right?
Barely.
Well, you'll have another chance. 'cause,
Well,
you
and
know,
then now,
there's four more.
Yeah, mark
I
that one off.
can't open the next one or I'll be
yes,
down.
obviously, but hang on. Now we come to another rule of being hunted. You don't travel hurt. We've got to fix this. We can run into other stuff on the road. What if we run into the Elatrans?
So at
We'll
the
You
try to-
guys make yourselves
We'll
right.
either disarm them from afar, or
Can you heal right now?
Do you want some riot root? We have to.
We've got to do something. You look like
Yes,
shit.
I need some
We
rest.
need to be mindful of our supplies.
Or rest. We can also rest.
I suppose we could take a moment.
An hour.
right here. I say we travel.
Right on the border of Trickster's Thicket. I don't know. if
Let's
that's
travel a
wise.
little bit
Alright,
further
Erlen's
in.
gonna grab his girdle
Oh,
and
yeah, you
use
got
it.
girdle.
I only have one now.
Motherfucker.
It's not gonna do much. I only have one.
When do you get those back? On a long rest?
I roll a d4 on a.
You get that many back. Yeah.
Okay, I heal
So
3.
Erland, with his magic item that he has, sort of has a little bit of like nodes of healing energy that he can access. You know, a couple they come back after a long rest. Partially.
I'm gonna give him a riot.
I've got a bit of magical energy left. You'll be the first thing that if we get into any more shit, you'll be the first thing that I deal with. But I should
Maybe
save
don't
it.
rush in next time because you could go down, and if you go down, it'll cause a problem.
Didn't rush in
No, I'm just-
my finger
I'm
slipped.
saying if we get into shit in the near future before you're feeling all right, don't rush in, right?
All right.
Did you roll for the healing node?
Yes.
And then are
Riot
you eating the Riot as well?
Yes, I am.
Great. Go ahead and do that. A reminder that you eat that kind of bitter root that just gives you a little bit of healing essence. A reminder just that if you eat multiple Riot roots, it can make you sick. So the first one's fine.
What does it do for Riot? What's it heal?
Yes, it's 2d4 temporary hit points.
2d4. Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent.
A hearty root. So yes, if you eat another one within 24 hours of this one, you have to make a Constitution save.
All right.
To make you sick. But
We're 12 HP.
All right.
Sick.
Here, wizard.
not a vote of confidence.
Careful, everyone.
Thank you. All right.
Horses.
Hop on. I'm gonna sort of take a look into Trickster's Thicket, see if any of the Elatrians heard
Give me
it
a
or
perception
anything.
check.
Any disturbing?
I'm either the best or the worst. A nat 20.
Nat 20.
Oh my god, your perception checks.
So you have the river, which is pretty thick between you and Trickster's Thicket, but you make sure as you're sort of chewing on the Riot root, you take a moment to look into the trees. And once again, they're very thick, so you can only see like a couple rows back in these trees. And you don't see anything peek out. However, the noise that it made, you look out into the woods, and some of the animals are kind of hopping around. They clearly heard the noise, so it's conceivable that someone who was nearby might have heard the noise. But you don't see anyone poke their heads out at the moment.
Do we?
Do I see any of the bromeliads?
No.
Is it conceivable that Elatrians have gifts similar to yours of communicating with nature and animals and creatures?
Oh, I think it is a part of. I mean, I know that it's a part of their like spirituality to like commune with animals to a certain degree, or like to at least
Nature? I don't
respect
think-
them.
Yeah, respect them, definitely. I don't think you've been told that they have people-
Druidic, like,
Yeah, I mean
abilities.
they could, but you
Right.
haven't talked to
They
someone.
can't
who said
resurrect
that.
them. I'll tell you that much.
I don't know. I know that they respect animals, so I imagine that my ability to communicate with them wouldn't be unnoticed.
Oh no, I mean, I'm sure some creatures just
Oh.
witnessed what happened. Scouts of some kind, possibly. I don't know.
I have no idea. I'd be more surprised if an animal alerted an Elatrian than if an Elatrian was just in the area and we didn't know.
Sure. Well, maybe they'll see us, taking care of it and think we're nice.
I don't know if they'll think the people right around the explosion are nice.
Well, we wouldn't be. That'd be pretty silly if
We
we
can
were the ones placing it and then exploding it.
Show them like.
I suppose. I suppose.
All right.
Look, eyes out for the bromeliads now.
Could have been a mishap, but yeah, you've to, yeah.
All right. I'll
And
have my
Saphira's got her
spyglass.
note, and she's
Sure.
looking at the
Holding
plants and making
Oh yeah.
comparisons.
Or I was gonna take a look. She'll have her spyglass out, looking at the other side of the
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, so again, they grow on the western bank, so you have to be looking at the opposite bank. The Trickster's
Oh, yeah,
Foot.
Oh yeah.
Moving around.
You guys continue a little further, sort of shaking off the kind of startling effects of the explosion, just calming yourselves, heart rates
hardcore
settling a
explosion,
little bit
too.
there.
I'd be down.
As that loose dirt up on the curtain, the Southill curtain, it's not uncommon to see little trickling bits of stone and rock, whether it's like a critter running by or the wind blowing, because it's like a mixture of loose dirt. You'll see little tricklings of things moving down the hill. Not uncommon at all to see that, to hear these sounds. The trickling happens ever so often. And as you continue to ride, it seems like it starts to happen a little more frequently.
Oh god.
And regularly. And you realize that it seems to be synced up with something else. A deep, kind of far off rumbling.
mining, perhaps?
They never spoke of mining in the Southill Curtain.
Are there giants in the curtain?
I don't know. Are there giants in the curtain?
Give me a history check.
17.
17. Your knowledge on, I mean, it's been some time since you've certainly studied where they're kept. As far as you know, no. That's not like it's not really big enough or resource rich enough to sort of house a clan of Goliaths or giants or anything to that effect.
Would I know
That would be unusual.
Any like large animals or monstrosities are around this area?
You're not familiar with this area, really, with tricksters
Okay.
in the area around it. It certainly could be something large.
Not ordinarily.
Look, if there's something that's out here, we want the option to not engage now, right? So let's find somewhere where we can find cover, or we can have it.
Yes, perhaps we should
Is it
cross the river.
Is it like a metered time in between them almost?
It's pretty regular. Yeah, it feels
Pretty-
like very
very-
regular intervals. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not exactly
Right,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Is how wide and deep does the river to our left look? Like, could a horse traverse it pretty comfortably?
Not comfortably. It's possible, but it's wide and probably deep in the middle. The river's quite wide here between this bank and the Trickster's Thicket.
So in order to get into the thicket, we'd have to potentially leave horses.
Potentially. I mean, again, you don't know exactly. It's hard to tell exactly. But
What are the odds that if we just continue our course quietly and quickly, we will be alright?
Low. I think that's low. I think we should take a break. I think it's worth it. I don't know what the sound is. If it's mining, if it's some kind of operation we didn't know about, that's one thing. But if that is a giant creature, I don't think we're exactly in fighting shape, do you?
Right, but why would we then wait here for it to come to
Could we
us?
cross the river, perhaps?
We have to
The
cross.
horses.
Can we try and get them to wade? Can we get off our horses and lead them?
It's a little early in our journey to be losing a horse.
Is it getting louder?
give me a perception check.
Oh boy.
17.
17. No.
Oh.
It doesn't seem to be approaching or getting any louder. It seems to be staying a clear distance. I
Do
think
we-
that we could pass it by.
Do we have a sense of directionality with the sound of
Sounds
it?
like it's in front of you, like in the
Okay.
direction you're heading.
Shit.
Look, we're heading right towards this thing. Can we not reroute a little bit?
What if we...
Just to clarify, the trickling of the rocks, it doesn't sound like it's coming from from the curtain. It just sounds like the force or heaviness of whatever the sound is causing vibrations that are making rocks trickle down.
Scout ahead, perhaps?
All right.
Would you like to start a rest? Or maybe one or two of us will go ahead and see if we
I
can...
could also send something ahead. Do you want me to
That is
talk
true.
to an animal and send something up ahead of us so
Do you
that we
see-
can't alert? We won't alert anything that way.
I can sneak ahead. I healed.
Erland,
I healed. I
Erland,
healed.
no. I'm saying no. I think I should maybe.
Find the creature.
Okay. I am gonna start looking around for something that could possibly fly.
Give me
little birdie.
an investigation check with disadvantage. It seems like a combination of the explosion of the box and the sounds
Right.
of the loud sounds of these vibrations.
Wow.
That's a 1. I'm not even turning the spell slot over.
It seems like whatever sound and vibrations, it's scaring or spooking. Like you don't see any. They seem to have retreated into the woods or out of. Yeah, you do not see any creatures nearby.
No, bad luck. Everything's scared off. And frankly, I think we should be too.
We have to go forward at some point. If you want to rest, we rest, but we are going
I
forward.
think we proceed forward together, and if we see anything dangerous, we turn and run. It doesn't seem to be moving towards us. We can run away and then try and ford the river.
All right.
Erland, if you see something, you should
We're
take a
going
healing
together. We're
potion
all
now.
going together.
I'm just saying, as soon as we see something, take a
have a
healing
healing
potion.
potion?
I'm gonna get my sort of bow out and put an arrow in it and
Knock the arrow and hold it kind of down by the side.
yeah, and I'm gonna ready an attack for any.
Anything?
No, I'm gonna
A
ready.
child runs
for
through
two
the
children with hammers.
I'm gonna.
I've readied this. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
There's nothing I do.
If if you see you with like arrows straight out, perhaps just have it at your side and not shoot the next thing you see.
Who has the? You have all the healing potions?
Yes.
Can I have one in case it's something dangerous?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
I won't drink it now. I'll drink it if it's something dangerous.
But now would be a bad point in the journey to lose either a horse or a companion, so
Well, of
let's
course.
avoid both.
Go ahead.
Alright,
And I
just
give him
start slowly moving the horse. Don't we have like 10 now?
We have a lot of healing potions.
Are you all moving with
Moving
Erland
slowly.
as he slowly moves the horse forward?
You always drink it. You always drink it. Yeah, I'm a monk,
I'm not
and I
saying it's a
only
bad
have
idea.
30 hit points.
I rolled a natural 1 opening a big bomb box.
Who does that?
Are people following Erland as he
Yes.
runs?
Wait, your class, bitch.
Everybody give me stealth checks. Yeah.
Ooh. Stealth.
Oh no.
Oh, come on.
Motherfuckers, you guys.
I'm sorry.
Motherfuckers, you
I'm
guys.
sorry.
I'm fine. 1.
No.
Natural 1?
Natural of that thing.
So natural. It comes so naturally.
I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah,
to
I
you
know,
here.
man.
2 and 3, right?
I'm a 3, yeah.
What the?
16.
Oh my god, 9.
Jesus.
8.
Okay.
Oh,
And you guys are riding and you're trying to get closer, and the ground is just. There's a lot of sticks, a lot of brush. There's no kind of getting around it. You're making some noise. There's no way to continue forward without it. And you kind of look to each other as you're riding, sort of. As the-
Quiet down, everyone. Quiet down.
I mean, there's no avoiding it. The hooves kind of snap sticks as they walk. But you move a little further forward, and the noises, those recurring noises, they start to turn into sensations as the vibrations can be felt.
I don't like this at all.
Do we see a thing on the road yet?
The horses are getting agitated.
Shit.
Kind of unfamiliarity
Why
of the
does nobody
feelings
ever
and the
listen
sound. And you're looking for what could possibly be the source of these heavy, resonating thumps. But you look out into the trees and you don't see anything, just more trees. Give me perception checks, everybody.
This is upsetting. You suck. You are a loser, McLoser. I am also a loser.
Just slightly less of a loser.
5.
13.
9.
Giant foot's gonna smush us from the clouds.
Oh god, we didn't see it coming.
As Graven's riding, the vibrations and the sound, they're spooking your horse a little bit, and it pulls up. It like stops riding. So you stop, and it's actually the stopping of the motion, and as you look around, that allows you to see forward and perceive what at first looks like an optical illusion.
Oh no.
But your eyes seem to confirm that
God.
down the road a ways is one tree passing behind another tree. One gargantuan trunk moving slowly by its stationary
Disturbed this
brethren.
forest too.
Stop.
The tree must be 80 feet tall. These outstretched kind of branching limbs, and there's a split at the base that allow it kind of approximating legs to...
It's going back and forth.
It's going back and forth like across the path. Yeah, and the path is narrow, so it's like one step this way, one step the other. And it looks like it's kind of moving around. It's hard to tell exactly what it's doing. Right now it's kind of just moving horizontally.
And again, it's not like getting bigger,
No,
smaller.
yes.
It's like
You see it kind of passing behind one tree, going the other way.
Can tree stride into him?
I was just wondering that, actually.
Hello.
He's like, oh!
And do I have any knowledge
Invade
of
it.
tree
Personal space.
things, people? Is that something I recognize?
Sure, something that large is probably a treant of some kind.
Treant. Okay.
Are we all
There.
familiar? Are these like a familiar thing, or?
You've heard of them, sure. Yeah. Right now, first of all, Graven's the only one that's noticed it so
Yeah.
far. Everyone kind of
Yeah.
the motion of the horse is making it hard to see the motion of the tree because it blends in very seamlessly with the trees around it.
There. Stop. If you focus
what,
up
what?
the road, there is a nearly 100-foot tree.
What?
A being, a
What?
treant, something is moving across the path back and forth. Focus right down the middle.
No.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna take
as you
a
follow
spy
his
class.
finger, and you can
No.
see it back and forth.
The hell is that?
No.
That is a tree
Fucking
person,
way.
Are
tree
they
being.
sentient? Are they? What are they?
Like myconids, there's something in between. They don't communicate, like you can't communicate with it without some kind of druid, something that you're not aware of. And they, have a basic sense of danger, threats, like they're, a creature, but not intelligent creatures. So again, they live in that kind of gray area, just like myconids do. Where
Are they naturally vicious, or?
no,
Like, if you tried to pass it, would it?
that you don't know, but not necessarily naturally hostile. No, like most plant-based creatures, they're mostly pretty neutral, but that doesn't mean they can't feel threatened or put off by something that's happening.
This feels like we have to make a decision about making our way into the thicket or trying to cross the Southill curtain, because I don't know if that thing is agitated, but I do not think we want to engage with it.
It's just pacing.
Right, I mean, what if we had an explosion by us, if perhaps there was another explosion here and it
Disturbed it.
It disturbed it, and now it's looking for the source, or just
Gonna have
generally
to agree
upset.
All right.
with Graven on this one. I don't want to engage with her.
Can we perhaps... Is there any way we think we could lead the horses through?
Well, I guess now was the time to investigate that.
I think a river is safer than a 100-foot tree.
And
I
if the
would venture to
Elatrians
guess, yeah.
catch us, we'll
Explain
ourselves
why. And say that we exploded a box for them.
Well, I think what we should lead with is there are people who are
Trying to hurt
burying explosive boxes and don't open them because they're very scary.
All right, well, let's go to the bank quietly.
He's gonna hop off his horse and sort of take a look in the water and see how deep it is.
You get a little closer and closer, the idea kind of in your head, and you get to the bank. This river seems wide, and it's moving pretty quickly. I mean, it's been kind of a slow downward slope, and it's picking up. There's white tufts to the water. I mean, it's moving. It looks, it's not barreling down the river, but horses are pretty good swimmers, but you would have to kind of lead them across, and what the thought that occurs to you immediately is any belongings could get swept up easily in the flow of this river that are sort of anything lightly secured could go.
Am I tall enough that I could hold
A horse?
Walk it? No, my God.
That's my picture. You're holding a horse.
Just holding it by the two hooves.
Fine, friend.
No, belongings. Could I hold packs above my head and make it all the way across?
You can't gauge how deep the middle of the river is.
How wide?
Possibly, but you can't tell how deep it is.
Roughly how wide's the river?
40 feet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna jump it?
No. I mean, I could.
You want? Oh, my God.
Wow.
But that's not my
Wow.
plan. I have over 50 feet of rope.
Okay.
We could perhaps tie one side to a tree here, another side to a tree there, across the river, and use it to safely get across and keep our bags above us. That way we won't get blown to the side.
Sure, but
And once one person's across, we can help lead the horses with my last 25 feet of rope.
I think we need to be with the horses in the water. Yes, the ropes above the water is okay for our packs.
No, because we want the horse to be able to swim and we don't want to be swept away. If we tie 25 feet of rope to the horses...
I don't know if the horse will go in the water on its own.
All right, then. Then we have a hand on the rope so we don't get blown away and we
Okay.
can lead the horse.
Okay.
But that way there's not... Because if we get swept away, the horse is going to get spooked.
All right, can you make it across that river?
I can try. All
I'll hold the rope on this side.
Everyone's going to
So
tie.
I also have
Yeah.
another climbing
I have
kit.
3.
I would also say, based on the speed that the water is moving, just something to consider, as you're holding the rope, you can lead the horse, but the horse is not going to be able to make a perpendicular path because it's going to drift, and you're not going to be able to hold the rope and
Right,
the
but
lead
I'm
the
saying if we
horse.
tie 25 feet of rope to that horse as well, that will give it some room to sort of drift around a little bit, right?
But it's just going to drift further and further until it pulls on the rope. It's not going to.
it's not. I see.
Like the horse, it'll swim where you pull it, but it's going to keep moving further and further down the river. It's not going to compensate for that. That would be difficult. That would be quite.
All right. So then, we tie 50 feet of. I traverse it. We tie 50 feet of rope to the horse, and then someone on the other side gives the horse room to travel across without being taken away. Do you see what I'm saying?
gives the horse
No,
room.
so
Okay. I go across the river.
Takes
Yes.
a stick.
I go across the river.
Yeah,
yes, tie rope.
No, hold on.
Oh my God.
Listen.
I hate all of these plans.
No,
so
this is
far.
good. This
I
is good.
really
This
hate
is good. This is good. Trust me. This is good. Trust me. We tie 50 feet of rope to a horse.
Yes,
Yes,
we
with
got
me
that
so
There's
far.
ropes and horses, yes.
All right, 50
understand
feet of
that.
rope to horse. Horse stays on this side of the land.
Swing it.
I traverse across the river, holding the rope.
Okay. Okay.
And I get to the other side of the river.
Yep.
Yeah, we got that.
Now we have 50 feet of rope
Yes.
with a horse on one side
Indeed.
and me on the other side.
Yeah.
That horse is then nudged into the water, and I bring it in.
I'm staying with my horse. You don't put a horse in the river on its own. You have to guide it.
I'm guiding it with the rope that I'm holding it
no,
with.
If you just yanked on a rope on the opposite side of the river, that horse would
Oh, absolutely.
never do that.
Okay, then you go with it to guide it, and then we have a safety rope so it doesn't get blown away by the water.
This is
Someone
also
does have to guide it.
quite a hefty animal. You think you can just pull on
No,
it?
no, no. You're going to guide it across. I'm just saying if a worst case scenario happens where it's sort of getting spooked in another direction, I'm still with it holding onto a rope so it doesn't just run away.
If we get into the river here, yes, we may end up farther downriver when we get out on the other side. Getting our belongings over dry, we can use the cycle of rope in one spot.
Just to play some devil's advocate here.
Please.
Please do. I hate this idea. I hate my
all
own
of
idea.
these ideas. Returning to the thought of getting past the treant.
Yes.
During this whole time.
We have to enter the thicket anyways, at some point.
But not with horses is the thing. If you needed to collect flowers, somebody could stay behind and watch horses.
I see.
So, okay, so tell me a little more about these tree things. So, are they territorial? Could we easily distract it and lead it
Do
away
we know?
from the
We don't
path?
know anything about these.
Give me a nature check. You and Graven can give me a nature check.
Could we perhaps set a very small, light forest fire and scare it away?
13.
I'd rather do
13
that
is
than lose
low.
4 horses.
I mean, you know a little bit about the basics. They're not territorial per se, but they will perceive threats. Like if they're aware of things in their surroundings, so if you do something that like approached it quickly, it might immediately see you as a threat. Or if you waved a torch in its face, it might see that as a threat. You know, like it's able to, it has rudimentary senses of its own safety.
If we were to maybe, with our body language,
Very calmly.
express submission, move slow, heads down, quiet.
The horses are scared. They're not going to approach it.
Can you talk to the horses maybe? You've already calmed a group of them once before.
I can. Whether or not I'll be able to convince them to walk past a giant tree, I don't know.
We have feed. What if we lead them with feed while you talk to them and say, "Oh yes."
The other
food,
thought I
this
had,
way."
Orba, is don't you have a plant with you?
Yeah.
Well, it's a plant. Maybe if we're nice to plants, that's a sign of, I don't know, peace. So what if we're
Do
like
you want me
watering?
to introduce them to one another?
No,
Or
I'm
we're
saying-
kidnapping a plant and keeping it in a bag.
But it's healthy.
Does it still just seem like there's only one? Can I tell it?
Yeah, it seems that you've only seen one so far, and based on unless they're walking in sync, based on the sort of ground vibrations, it seems like just one moving back.
I think as long as we can keep the animals calm, there is a good chance that we could walk by it.
All right. So we hop off the horses.
And the other thing is we have to keep the tree calm too.
The tree seems.
We're gonna just
It's
let
not-
it be.
It's not raging as it looks. It just looks like it's pacing.
Yeah.
All right.
Wouldn't want to get in
How
the
do
way
we
of
feel
that
about
foot.
that plan as opposed to ropes and horses and rivers?
All right. We very
Well, I think it
carefully-
depends on what we want to risk.
Keep an eye out for any
I-
time that the river gets
Oh, sure. A little
more
thinner.
narrow or less rocky or
Do we want to risk losing time and possibly possessions, or do we want to risk coming into a combat with this thing?
I suppose worst case scenario, we can try and run.
I was going to say, I don't believe they're very fast.
Doesn't look very fast. I mean, it
look very
takes
fast.
long strides and it has
Yeah.
long kind of branches, but it does look slow, physically slow. Yeah.
Its reach is far, but its speed is.
If it reaches far, then presumably as long as we stay far enough away from it, we shouldn't have any issues with running away. But
The road is narrow.
we should wait and watch it for at least a moment just to get a sense of how long its steps are, because I want to be at least 2 steps away from it if possible.
2 of his steps
2
away.
of his
Well,
steps.
we're going to have to pass nearly underneath him at some point.
Heads down. Keep the animals calm. Let's go see what its movements are like.
In response to the steps thing, Graven's been watching it a little bit. It looks like it takes one big step in one direction, and then one big step back in the other
we have
direction.
to
So how long
and
does
that
it
so we
crosses
could go
the-
around.
And that crosses the
road.
entire
path.
road.
Yeah, pretty much.
One step.
It's narrow.
Yep.
We can't. We'd have to climb over the
How,
roof.
how long is
Yes,
how
it's
long
very
is,
big.
How
Yep,
long
takes
is his
big,
back turn
long
from
strides.
one step to the other? Like after turn, how much time is his back facing a certain direction?
Yeah,
Take a listen.
1, 2, like 2.5 seconds.
There's no way. He's also 100 feet in the sky. He can probably see us now.
Is there like thicker trees on either side of the road, like harder from an aerial view, harder to see down?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good number of trees. It's a little even woodier closer to the curtain than to the river. The river is a little sparser when it comes to
Okay.
vegetation.
So what if we
Place
stick
the tree.
to the thicker area so he can't see down as well?
All
That's a
right.
good idea.
Wait for him to turn and just. I don't. Well, slow. Do we go slow or go
Slow,
fast?
slow,
Slow.
slow.
Okay.
Until we have to go
Because
fast.
fast would be perceived as a threat. At least if we're moving through slowly,
Okay.
then we might be perceived as just creatures passing through. But
Let's be perceived as creatures passing through.
I was gonna go to his horse and start.
The horse looks
We're
at you
gonna-
like,
yeah.
are you fucking
horses are like,
Better than the river, friend. Trust me.
I don't know if it is.
This guy wanted to tie a rope to you.
Yeah, you don't even know.
Craven just on the other, or Craven on the other bank, just
Come
like,
on, buddy. Come on, little friend.
It's like,
Horse is like, absolutely the fuck not. I don't know why you think I trust you this
Orba's
much.
gonna start taking out some feed,
okay.
and dispersing it to help coax.
Okay, let me do the thing.
no, don't do it until we have to.
I'll wait to do the thing. I'm getting ready to
Be
do
ready to do the.
I'm ready to do the thing.
Like doing vocal.
Yeah. Nay.
She does that and she's like, nailed it. Still got it. Still got it.
Got it.
Horses have a holy halo. Horses have a holy halo.
What's the matter with me? I don't know.
You guys slowly start to creep forward, and immediately
hurt my
with the
neck on
shaking,
that one.
you sense a little bit of lack of forward momentum from the horses. They're moving, but slowly, a little nervously. Everyone give me animal handling check.
Now the moment.
Am I good at this?
No!
Oh, it's another
Great.
-1.
13.
15.
8.
Can't read these.
Some
12.
danger.
12. Okay, as a group, you keep the horses pretty calm, even as the sort of vibrations pick up and the intensity of the sound a little bit. The sound, again, is this sort of more deep rumbling than it is like a loud, concussive sound. So it goes just kind of beneath your feet. Also, Graven, give me a perception check. And then everyone give me stealth checks as well as you try to quietly and easily.
5.
For which one?
Perception.
Perception. Okay.
That hurts! 8!
16.
Unbelievable.
5
My
on the
monster's
stealth.
plus 6.
3.
5 on both.
And between the
guys are
cracking
fighting each other.
branches beneath you, the horse's hooves and the slamming kind of booming noise coming from in front of you, it feels like you're making no progress when it comes to being sort of quiet and moving along. As you're getting closer and closer, and Graven is in the front leading the way a little bit there, in addition to the steps back and forth, it seems like when it gets to the curtain side, it like bends down a little bit and seems like it scoops something up and then takes a big step toward the river,
Doing?
throws something in the river, step back toward the
Explain
curtain.
why the river's contaminated?
It's like cleaning.
He's tidying.
It seems to be picking up dirt from the curtain side and throwing it in the river over and over.
Is it trying to fill in that part of the river?
Is that perhaps why they got the rot scare? Is it the same river?
It's just
What
dirt.
direction does
Way,
this
we're
river
way
flow?
downriver.
It's flowing
way
away
down.
from you.
Way
Like,
down river?
north to south. It flows down from the north.
no, flows south to north, yeah.
Oh, so it is.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
because
say,
it
like,
flows
okay.
out toward the ocean. Yeah, rivers. Yeah, it's going, yeah.
I'm an idiot.
So the whatever he's throwing in the river is flowing away from you.
Okay.
Would dirt cause rot scale?
I
Depends
guess
on
it
what's in
depends
the
on what's in
dirt.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he senses it's poisoned or something?
Well, if he's scenting it's poison, then why would he be throwing it into the water?
Well, if this is his home, I would imagine.
Perhaps. Oh, perhaps.
What?
What are you gonna
If-
say?
Horse is kind of.
If we were to rectify whatever problem he's trying to solve,
Are you gonna talk to him?
no. If we see, there's a
poisonous thing in the river. Let me move that for you.
Listen, mate, I think it's best if we try to not interact with this.
All right.
Is there enough room? Like, the Stout Hill Curtain area, the forest over here is pretty thick, you said.
Yeah.
To go into it up against the very,
Like the slope terrain.
slope terrain, how far away from it would we be if we got
30, 40 feet. I mean, you can go in. It's very thick with brush and trees.
Yeah.
You'd be kind of maneuvering the horses. You'd be, I mean, you could potentially,
Yeah.
I just fixed it.
Oh, sorry.
I think our best bet, we don't want to disturb it going from the edge of the wood here across the road to the water. I say we try to stay all the way on the right-hand side if we can.
I think that's a
Let
good
it do
idea.
its business.
Okay.
But what I will say, it's a bad idea to talk to it unless you can't talk to it, can you? You can do the thing where you step into the trees and you can do.
I can perhaps enter it, but I can't talk to it. I don't
Weird.
think I want to enter a living.
Yeah, no.
I do not sentient tree.
No, scratch that idea. I'm
Communicating
gonna
with
go
it.
ahead and
Don't do
talk
it.
to the horses because, I'm good at. We're gonna talk to the
Wait
horses.
until
There's
we
no
get
better way to phrase that.
wait until we get closer.
Okay. All right.
Get a little bit closer. The sounds picking up.
and you're like,
Vibrations rattling through. And again, the horse is kind of
Just giving it feed. Just
slowly and kind of nervously. You can sense, you've ridden on these horses that they're very kind of nervous proceeding forward. Give me animal handling checks again.
Are you sure you guys,
guys
want me to talk
fucking
to him
kidding
yet?
Did you just roll one?
Nat 20.
Oh my god. Okay.
8! What the fuck kind of a ranger am I?
21.
11.
11. You guys push forward a little bit further. Now, you start to get close enough
3 nat 20s and 3 nat
that you can see a little bit of what's going on. As its steps take a big stride toward the Stout Hill Curtain side, it reaches down and it picks up a giant bundle of burnt sticks, like charred. And as you peek around a little bit, all the trees on that side for 10 feet or so is like char marks up the trees, like bits and pieces. It seems like it's clearing out dead, burnt branches.
Poor
And it takes a
buddy.
big step toward the river.
Oh, was that his range?
Throws the kind of
No!
burnt pieces, and now you can see a little bit of the wood floating down the river as it flows further out of sight. So that seems to be what's happening. It bends down, scoops up a big handful or sort of gnarled fistful of wood, and then tosses it into the river.
I mean, whatever explosion we made with that box did not do nearly as much damage as what it seems like happened to this area of trees.
It's possible that if the explosion got set off and nobody extinguished the flames in any way, it could have spread a little bit.
Okay.
So maybe, because it was definitely like a fiery
Yeah.
explosion. So
Did we put out our flames?
I mean, I said that they were charred. It hit you guys mostly because you were right there. But if something,
I was on the grenade, yeah.
yeah, so you took the brunt of the force. But if someone set it off or something set it off, and then it was allowed to burn, it could have spread.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. He's a very sad tree.
That's,
Janitorial tree.
Well,
he's tidy. Should I talk to the horses?
Perhaps as we
They seem pretty calm now.
Okay.
perhaps yes, as we're how far away at this
We'll
point?
say 150 feet away. You're closing in pretty good. I mean,
And
the
how long
vibrations.
Yeah, how long does that last?
Talk to animals lasts 10 minutes.
I would say perhaps get them in the mood.
Oh, God!
I say I meant prepare them. Get them in the headspace. Get them in the headspace.
What's up, horse?
What's up, horses?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
How's it going? How you want to walk underneath a tree?
How you want to do this, horses?
How do you want to do this?
Prepare their minds and bodies.
Well, you... That's so much worse.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
Please do your.
Severa's gonna kind of take a look at him and go. And then I'm gonna cast the spell.
Right, you cast the spell, and immediately as you cast it, and you can sort of hear not necessarily words, but kind of worried, kind of no. What is that? What is that?
It's all right. It's a tree, actually, and it's just pacing back and forth. It's not going to hurt us.
It's no tree. No.
It is. It's actually a very big tree. You can see it's got leaves up there.
Not a tree that I know. No.
No, it's a new tree, but it seems friendly. It's just cleaning up over there.
Give
And
me a persuasion check.
Sweet.
It's friendly? Oh, okay. Maybe it is friendly. I have no modifier. 16. I always look.
Sort of,
like,
the horse is
hopefully.
kind of back and forth, just conferring, looking a little bit back and forth. She says it's okay. She says it's okay.
You're right, friend. We'll keep you safe.
And the hoof's kind of
Eating it. Eat. Distraction.
You lead them forward a little further. Tree scoops up another big handful of branches.
Oh my god.
Throws into the river. So you'd have to ride by decently quickly to get by in the amount of time it takes him to like if he picks up the branches and turns toward the river, you'd have to ride by pretty quickly.
If we stay on the road.
Yeah. I mean, even if you maneuvered into the woods there, you could, but you could try and sneak by that way. It's just he might perceive you.
Right.
Saphira, should you perhaps tell the horses that we're going to mount and ride quite quickly, and that will be very safe for us?
I'm not even buying that, but yeah, I'll tell the horses.
How fast at a dash can a horse go?
I mean, I don't know about the official speed. We'll go by the D&D stat block speed. So with like a movement and a dash, you're looking at like 120 feet in 6 seconds, roughly. Well,
Oh, okay.
I mean, they can sprint fast. Yeah, if you
60 feet per second. It's 20 feet per second. Beep, boop, beep.
Thank you. Dash.
Once we get about 50 or 60 feet away,
What we should do is line up and run. What we should probably do is line up one behind the other. We decide who goes first. He turns his back. I'll tell one of the horses to go. This horse will sprint, and then we'll wait, quiet down. The next time it turns his back, the next one of us will go.
I don't know if doing it one at a time is what if the creature stirs? What if he becomes aggressive after just one horse? I think it's
If he stirs, then it's better if we do it one at a time, I think, because then at least he can't attack all of us at once.
stirs like you dare, and then.
I think we run together. Quickly.
That gives us one shot, and it's a lot of noise if we run together.
Well, we're gonna...
And just
it's
keep
going to
going.
make noise. We just keep going.
Just out of the gate.
I mean, he could catch up to us pretty quick.
Well, no, not... These are good horses.
the horses would almost certainly outrun it.
Okay. So I will tell the horses to go fast. When we get an opportunity, shall we line up at least and get ready in a position where we can go? Yeah.
You guys kind of guide them like all now in a row, 4 in a row, kind of looking almost like you're starting like a race. Like the horses kind of.
Getting up on the horse.
And I'm gonna kind of, all right, so we're at a point and we're gonna sort of need to go quickly here. Like, almost like a race, so we can just see how fast we can get through this little bit, and then we're going to go where it's quiet and safe.
Just like a race.
Just like a race, just like a race.
And you can see them kind of digging in a little bit. Yeah.
I will tell you when to go.
If anything happens to these horses, I riot.
Do we even ever talk to Evie?
Yeah, no, I don't know if we ever talked to Evie.
One big step toward the curtain. Picks up a big bunch of branches. Turns.
Saphira.
Go! And the horses start to move, and you're kind of bobbing up and down, kind of weaving through the trees. Everybody, animal handling checks. Saphira, give me with advantage, because you sort of talk to the horses there.
oh my god! John, you and me both.
You caught up to me?
15.
5.
Oh no.
12. The routes that you take, there's no way for the 4 of you to all kind of move, in a perfect line. You have to weave between trees a little bit. As you guys are sprinting forward, Graven and Erland have to peel off just a little bit because of where they're going. Saphira and Orba move ahead, and Erland and Graven converge, and the noise of the hooves, the creature turns, and without even looking, one giant branch.
Am I close enough to Erland to touch him?
Give me an animal handling check. We'll see if you can pivot the horse hard.
Us 18.
18. Graven pivots hard, and you get within. You butt up again. You almost bump. The horses bump into each other quickly.
Boat uns and like kind of give him a heel real quick.
Give me a perception check and to see if you can kind of tell what he's about to do.
Perception 14.
Yep, 14. Erlen leans in your direction. You reach out. Go ahead.
Oh shit! Third level 3 cure wounds.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Someone explodes. Oh no!
Oh wow.
Heal his sepsis.
Wow.
It's a good thing you did level 3.
Yup. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 HP.
Okay. That's so sad for a level
Shit
3.
at that level.
Right. The horses moving as quickly as they can, but this giant bark backhand just swings across, and the two of you get down as low as you can. But after the heel, your arm is kind of out, and it. Whoa! You feel it on your back, and Saphira and Orba turn around, and Graven and Erland fly through the air, having been smacked by this tree, and the two of you, because of the way it's curling its kind of branch around, you go flying, and you see them go over the terrain, and then Erland and Graven look down, and they're over the river.
Where are the horses?
The horses didn't take the brunt of the hit. They got hit and kind of tumbled. They didn't get hit immediately by the branch, but they kind of stumbled down and immediately tried to get up and started to scamper away in the direction. So Raven and Erlen kind of flying through the air. They plunge through the water, and that's where we're gonna.
What time is it?
So with one giant entish sort of backhand swipe.
I told him it was safe!
Oh, I will do the damage from the hit.
it was safe!
You don't have to.
No, don't do the damage with it!
What if I get downed by this and I have to spend?
I got you, man. Didn't I?
I have 20. I have 25 HP.
You have more than me.
will riot.
I don't think they're.
I don't know. I am lodging a formal
15
complaint with my
bludgeoning
immediate
damage.
superiors.
15, and that wasn't even
Wait, for
very
you
low.
You would have been
guys?
down.
15 damage
Yeah.
for both of you.
Oh yeah.
Bludgeoning.
Oh yeah.
Any resistances?
Wait, so what did you say? 15 there?
15 bludgeoning damage. As one giant slamming
No, I
attack.
wouldn't have been down. I had 17.
Okay.
Did I?
I thought you had 12.
I had 12. I would have been down.
You're welcome.
Erlen would have been
didn't we
unconscious
run
in the
one by
river if
one?
not
I guess I would have healed him in the river. I went to 2. Good thing we both didn't go down. If it had been 2 more.
So you see them go flying through the air and then plunge into the river, and you're like, as you hit the water, there's all that charred kind of bark debris around you too, as you know, the tree's been tossing
We don't need to fight
some
this
of
thing.
that. So Saphira and Orba are ahead a little bit,
just gotta
but they kind
run.
of look back.
And get the horses
Get
first.
the horses and
The
run.
horses are
Well, the
basically
horses
heading
are,
towards
the
them,
horses
so
are
that means
heading
they're
towards
running away
me.
from
Oh, yeah,
the
they're
priest.
still going.
They're
I can
booked,
call
yeah.
them too. The spell is still, so I can like literally call them too.
Hey guys. Hey, it's fine.
I'm like, hey guys, don't worry about that.
You did so good. You lost.
Okay, get the horses all the way
They're never gonna trust me again. They will never.
Secure the horses, I'll take everyone!
I took like 40 points of damage of the lamest fucking damage.
Yeah, that was really lame damage.
Boxes and
Bitch
trees.
slapped by a
You
tree.
really did.
That is where we'll end tonight's stream.
My
God.
And we will pick up there
Absolutely
next
awful.
week. Welcome back, everybody.
Shut up.
How do we add
Shut up.
this guy to the party?
I want the tree.
I want the tree. I am Groot.
So upset.
Oh, there was
Natural ones and
there
3
was some
nat 20s.
stanky rolls.
That was.
What is wrong with
damn.
you
I
all?
seriously rolled a 1, a 3, and a 5.
You would never know I'm a ranger.
On D8s. A 1, a 3, and a 5 on your heel just then.
Well, it did what it needed to do.
It certainly did.
I am alive and
We
in
gotta run the hell out of here.
I think this is
Jesus.
indicative, actually. I think Cool Shaver was, correct me if I'm wrong, Cool Shaver. I think you were bidding for every nat 1, and in the second half, Cool Shaver did 1, 2,
You're
3,
welcome,
4,
guys.
500 bits.
Oh
and
my
that's just
goodness.
part 2. That was post break.
Oh,
Also, Quartz64 subscribes, so thank you very
thank
much.
you very, very much. Once again, thank you so much for the outpouring of support, the subs, the gift subs, all of the bits and everything.
Thank you.
It means the world to us. We can't believe that this is finally here. We put so much work into making this happen. It feels very surreal at the moment. But we hope you enjoyed all the new looks, the new videos, the new everything, the new portion of the story. Making decent progress distance-wise, but getting smacked around a little bit. Avoided a greater conflict
By
with the people
a
at the
tree,
bridge.
no less. By the plants are against us now. We've got the gods against us, the undead are against us, and now the plants? What do the plants have against us?
speaking ill of the plants.
I love plants.
Oh, I just saw somebody do a command donate in the chat. We don't have that command, but we do have, I don't know why the command's not working. We do have a Patreon. If we just launched it today, actually. So feel free to check that one out. We also do like the Twitch stuff, but I know some folks would prefer to do other things. Bless you.
Bless you.
And so yes, that is always a resource.
Your presence is
Thank you guys so much. We are going to sign off for the evening. We hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you here next week, 7 o'clock Eastern, same time, and we will rescue Erlen and Graven from
my God.
the flowing Navika River.
Our stuff in our bags.
Bless you. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, our stuff in our bag. I have your stuff in my bags.
All right, everybody.
Don't
Have a
lose
wonderful
your
night
router,
from all of us here at Tabletop Notch. Next week.
Oh, GF Powers, thank you so much for the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. I heard you whimpering.
Goodness.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.